the thinker. He was like, okay, I'll be behind the scenes. He's not as buff as Thor, but he knows how to control Thor. That's the difference. So, but I don't know, man. I think they're both. It's your definition of good and bad.
So
you know?
both of them play both sides of the fence?
Thank you, Hillary. Throughout the Destinies, yeah, absolutely, I feel so. Throughout multiple years, throughout multiple generations, but at the same time, are they just an archetype, or were they actually people? You know, I mean, I've interviewed people like Mario Bellina. He wrote a book called This Book That Will Forever Change the Way You Think About the Bible. It's like 600, 700 pages. He was a Vatican translator for 20-something years. He did direct translations from the Hebrew, and he talked about how Enki and Enlil and all those players were just people like us, but they had longer lifespans.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's really how you want to... I mean, look at what we're doing right now with the AI stuff. I hear everybody talking about AI. And supposedly, we were created by the gods, right? We were created by the gods to do their work. Whether you're reading about Enki or Enlil or Anu or Yahweh or the Elohim, we were created in their image. Well, look what we're doing to AI. I mean, it's the same thing. Now, AI is becoming self-aware. We created them to do our work. It's the same thing over and over again. I feel like we're in a cyclical thing. So that's a pretty deep question.
How's the radioactivity in here?
Oh, you want to know how the radioactivity is? Microsieverts. I brought my Geiger counter with me. I brought multiple Geiger counters.
Hey, I went and got the batteries, so I might as well find out, right?
Dude, okay, so the EMF levels right now are nuts. The EMF, a lot of people don't even know what this stuff is, but if you got a cell phone, even if it's not on and you're walking around, it's pinging where you're at, and this thing shouldn't be above 0.01. It's hitting 1.1, it's hitting 100, it's hitting 130. You don't even need to be on your phone. So that's the EMFs. The Geiger counter's picking up 0.12 microsieverts per hour. That's the radiation from like actual radiation, not electronic smog. This is from, I don't know, it could be from isotopes.
How is that level? Is that...
It's fine. It's 0.11 right now. This is what makes me concerned. Right now it's jumping up to 1.7, 2.0. Remember, it should be at 0.01. So do the
Why do you think it'd be like that high here?
Well, you got a Wi-Fi in here. We got cell phones. It's Wi-Fi and cell phones.
Gotcha.
So you should do that around one of our next ones. See if it goes down at all. It'll be interesting.
What kind is that? Is that the...
This is one of those organite pendants.
Okay. I did do testing with Organite as well.
And I would love to see if it makes
Put it up to
it
the
go
shin
down.
right.
Yeah, okay.
It's 0.38. It's not really
Not doing anything?
not doing much, but it's staying in the green.
Here's some organite right here.
Now it's yellow. Ah, it helped out.
This one.
You want me to try it out for you?
I've always wondered.
All right, I'll test it out. Sure.
This is Bella's.
Yeah.
So actually, here, where's my phone?
And then this is one...
Here's my phone. I'm gonna put it right underneath my phone here. Okay, so you can see it just hit 381. It hit 381. It should be over 0.01. Think about that. Norway did testing. Your DNA can actually be ripped apart when it's above 0.01 over long periods of time. This thing just pinged it over 300. And it's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere. These little orgo things are cool and all, but no.
How much do we appreciate Hillary over there
It's not
helping us
helping.
out?
It's still red.
Still haven't taken coffee, sorry.
See that red?
Yeah.
That's bad news. So,
Does that one do anything?
no, just hit 1833. No.
Okay. Interesting.
On your show, the one night,
All right.
remember what was the best last time? In the garage?
Oh yeah, the crystal. That's right.
This is rutilated quartz, and I bought this, this is very, you'll feel it.
Okay.
This has got a lot of juice.
Okay.
A lot of juice.
Nice. Feels good.
It
All right.
is, it's
What do you
been
do
heavily
with crystals?
used.
Like, what are you guys
It's
suggesting?
it's staying pretty
He has
quiet,
a question.
but I don't know how. There it goes. There goes the yellow. If I start walking around with it. Yellow.
But when you did
Yellow.
this before, the quartz worked better than the...
You know what? This actually might be helping a little bit because it hasn't. It's been staying in the green and the yellow, just so you guys can see. I'm moving around. It's pinging.
Oh, that's Kingston turquoise?
No, it's not. It's actually malachite, but
Wow.
it was
Nice.
infused with scalar energy.
So,
Heidi has a question as
Oh,
well.
this has the fruit.
So everybody here has crystals. What do you do with crystals? Like, I never know what to do with crystals. I have these crystals now, and I just sit there with
They
them.
all have
See the
different-
lack
Like, I don't know
of
what to do.
sensitivity, the lack of sensitivity.
That's me. Yeah, like, I'm not like that energy, like, I can't get into that. So,
them, I got no use for them.
it's like, for me, like, I just have tried.
Did you get your necklace?
I just don't get it. I can't do it.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
And Virgos,
yeah.
Virgo energy likes
Yeah,
that kind of energy. That's how I know. You know, once again, here's how I analyze things. Everything's done logically through astrology. But What do you do with crystals? I have a lot of people in here with crystals. What's going on?
Crystals have a frequency.
Okay.
Okay, they emit a frequency just like colors do. And that's why they'll associate like the color purple, like with healing and stuff, just like so the amethyst is purple. But they actually have their own frequencies. And it depends on what you practice, you giving or whatever hand, you can program them, is what I call it. I call it Reiki and any of that stuff. And you put your intention to like what you want to do. So the more you hold them, the more you handle them, the more you send them energy, thought, intention, and they carry that and you can draw on it. Because every crystal has a different frequency. And that's why they're able to do like the technology they're putting in that 7.8, they're just like perfect harmony for human beings. So having that frequency on you makes you have a better sense of well-being, balance. It depends on who you are and how you respond to it. I also wonder how all this affects it. Like how is it affecting our crystals with all this other frequency coming in all the time? And going back to what Rex was saying, I was listening to Colin on Living the Veil talking about the Anunnaki and about the genetics they did on this. Well, they've been done experiments for quite a while now. They take sterilized water and sterilized sand, and by light and frequency moving through it, all of a sudden all these organic things start growing, from plants to other little animals. They can actually have a bottle with just a tiny, tiny piece of DNA, and another bottle and the light and frequency, the DNA will start growing. It's almost like a spooky thing of a sort, even though there's nothing here to begin with. But it's a really interesting thing how light and frequency stimulates DNA. And I think that's why we're seeing the body changes from Mandela effect, is this white sun, the Schumann resonance. It's what's changing us.
I have a
That's
really,
my opinion.
the way that I describe how crystals work is it's really, what it is the energetic correspondence. In the same way that food heals your body, the earth provides us with herbs and plants and fruits and vegetables that work perfectly with our body to cure us of any ailments. Crystals are the planet Earth's expression in crystalline form to treat the ailment of the spirit.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of another layer of healing. So to get your body in stasis, you eat the green stuff, the green muck. We need that. The body needs that. And so in the same sense, if you're experiencing a disharmony in your energetic field, there is a crystal that the earth has provided for us to put that system back.
And that's a whole study in itself, isn't it? Learning what those are and what you need and how to, like you said, align them or correlate them together.
And all those books were taken from us. All of those texts were destroyed many, many years ago. There's a language that is lost to humanity because it was destroyed many, many years ago. The English language itself, as it is right now, was designed in mind to block us from the ether. The ether does not, again, it's the mental universe. The ether does not understand English language. So in any case, it's intention anyways, but that's why we need to understand that first.
What language does it understand?
That's a good question. I don't speak
Love.
it, but I don't know. Well, but there were spoken languages. There were written languages
Right.
that were a direct line from this realm to the ether. The medicine people and.
What about the Sumerian
indigenous-
text? If we could verbalize the Sumerian text, how they are.
I don't know, they're still kind of newer age, because you go back to some of these older temples like
Like the Vedic stuff, the Hebrew, or the Hindu.
Yeah.
Go back to Tempe, that one.
Yeah, Göbekli Tepe, Pumapunka, some of those incredible structures.
And I just want to add to what Jenny was saying about the language. Our language is designed to trick you subconsciously. So our
Absolutely.
bodies are made up of cells. They tell you your body's made up of cells. When you go into prison, you go in a cell.
I was just thinking that
Okay,
same
every
thing.
you can find that double speak everywhere in the English language.
And
everything,
it's endemic to the English language.
Yeah,
It's
and-
designed.
everything here is encoded.
Gee,
That's
damn.
why the crystals do things. That's why her
I didn't know
charts are true. if you look at the simulation theory of reality,
Just when you think you know
all this
everything.
stuff makes sense, where it doesn't make sense in any other explanation. So she looks at the code, and she's like, well, that's what the code is telling me. It's no different. I'm looking at a web page. I'm a webmaster HTML. I right click. I look at the source code, and I can tell what the web page is going to do. I don't need to see the web page. I can just look at the code. And, well, it's going to do this. It's going to generate that. And she's looking at the code, and she's able to tell. It's not. If you think about it that way, it'll make sense. That's how it works.
You know, Dan, it's interesting. I was in the Air Force for 6 years. I was a C-130 crew chief. And I remember my first day when I went up in the flight deck, and I looked at this flight deck with all these controls and these dials and these lights. I'm like, I'm blown away. There's no way that I could ever figure this out. And within 2 years, I'd run up there, boom, 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 boom. I flew the thing myself. I did the engine runs. And you know what's what. And all of these crystals, it's telling, how am I going to learn all these crystals? Just by diligence. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Just learn. And what you want to learn, you'll learn. And it'll change your life. It is a language. It is a whole correlation. And it's like anything we do. And I was just saying to Rex, everybody in this building is like psychic, tuned in. The energy here is like crazy. What a great place to be able to get up. What a fun it is to be able to get together with these kind of people, huh?
Jeff, you asked about what does the plant understand. I think it's tone, resonance, and vibration.
Right.
Yes.
Like whenever you put the tongue to the roof of your mouth and you do the as, the is, or the ohms,
Right.
that's, I think, I don't know, it's my opinion, that is the key of it, and that's a lot of invocations. You start out with better sounds, but not phonetically.
Interesting.
Our language is a spell.
It is a spell.
There was I
Like
have
if
to
you go
share
into
this.
court and they ask you, do
Sorry,
you
Jenny, no sharing.
understand? Then you're saying you're standing under law. So you say, I understand. You
Understand.
law. You're saying you're standing under that.
Exactly right.
And like, there's certain words that they've turned into profanities that aren't that at all.
Yeah. English is a trap, ladies and gentlemen.
Before I lose this, because this was like
Yep.
a really big deal for me when it happened, was that I had this dream, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate when I say that you experience dreams that feel like they're not really dreams, they're really happening. You're like, no, I don't have
I
dreams.
never have dreamed.
That's very
I did as a little boy, but as an adult, I never dreamed.
You still have them, you just don't remember them, but you absolutely still have
The
them.
brain, right? It has to do
Why
something.
don't I dream now?
I think you've
You do.
blocked it. I do think you, because I've blocked that stuff out of my. When you're
Are you on
sometimes when you're
medications?
so psychic.
Do you take medications?
Of course.
Yeah, a lot of medications can get rid of your dreams.
Yeah.
But this is, I didn't dream before the
Well, I
medication.
understand. I'm just saying a lot of times dreams and stuff like that can also offset. You're not gonna remember and stuff like that. but
Well,
you
yeah,
are
I mean,
dreaming.
right now I'm suffering from a little chemo pain, so I don't mean to be rude to anybody.
Not at all. Not at all,
No,
man.
you know, I'm telling
You're
you,
good.
you have blocked it out. Because when you have, because sometimes when your intuition is so on, it can go dark. Okay, our charts are the ones that can go deep and it can go dark. Like your intuition, my intuition's car accident. So if I ever have a dream that somebody gets into a car accident and I call you, do not get into the car the next day because it happens, okay? I used to feel them before they happen on the road. My intuition was really negative, where it's like, where I used to have to sleep with a fire extinguisher by my bed. I still do. This is how crazy I am. And so I blocked it out because the dreams that I used to have were crazy. And it was when I was younger. So you can do that when you have K2 because you learn how to deal with it and you're just like, no, I don't want to know about that anymore, and then it's gone. And you sometimes block your whole intuition out.
My bride says I'm the world's only living heart donor.
Folks, I want to ask a question if I can. I don't mean to cut off that. Keep going if you want to keep talking. You know, our world up here, the people that are up here, is to try to provide you with content that's helpful, useful, workable in your lives. Now, you've got us here in front of you. Share with us if you'd like to some of the things that you'd like to hear Rex Spirit talk about, Jenny Moonstone, Heidi Vandenberg, Dan, or even myself. Just shout them out.
Rex,
I work in nuclear power. I've got experience in electronic warfare.
Nice.
So
Thanks for coming.
and the ball
Best
biology.
friend.
I'm gonna interview you tomorrow.
Ball biology. I don't know if you know ball biology, which is an institute that was way ahead on electromagnetic pollution and healthy living.
Yeah.
It's way more advanced than leads and all that kind of stuff. And they used to be here in Clearwater, and actually moved to Arizona.
I remember that when they were here.
You remember that? Yeah. And they were
I was born and
really
raised here.
forward-thinking people. So anyway, maybe at some point we can talk about that if you're interested.
Yeah, I'd be honored.
That's my
He's
world.
from
That's my world. It was funny pulling up your meters and stuff.
So
I
you
just
can
reloaded
verify
two
what I was saying is accurate then about the microsieverts and the microteslas per square
we
meter?
use all that stuff. I just reloaded 2 reactors from Minnesota and one down here in Florida. So
Wow, that's awesome.
Maybe it's him you're getting the reading off from.
Yeah. Geiger counter just
that's
spikes.
why I'm so tall.
Nice, yeah. I need some of that.
What else, folks?
No,
What else do
so,
we
so
need?
the question I have is, I come from the Christian Catholic background. If you're good, you go to heaven, get
Right.
goodies. If you're bad, you go to hell and get punishment. Right? It was pretty simplistic. It was heaven. There was angels and demons and stuff like that. But in my experience, again, that was good about the telepathy discussion. But who or what are they? Because it was sneakier than that. It didn't seem like an angel, and it didn't seem like a demon. It was like
That seemed like an archon.
It was like a manager.
Yeah.
It was sneaky
Exactly.
like car salesman.
Yeah.
That's what archons are.
Timeshare sale.
Is that
Archons.
what's out there?
Archons.
'Cause I'm like bugged out. I think I haven't talked about it because I felt shame about my experience and I buried it. And it's so off the charts. I'm like,
The word archon literally means lord or master,
Yep.
and it comes from ancient Greek word, and like the demiurge word. And somehow these people knew this without technology. That's what blows me away. When I read the
It's
ancient
amazing.
stuff, and I'm reading this stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I think now. But I learned about it through
what is an archon?
an
An
archon.
archon.
And the Gnostics believed in these beings called archons. Now the archons were the I guess you could call them the guys who tended the soul farm, right? They managed us here being trapped in matter.
In a past life?
Uh,
Or is this history? So they say.
They're always here. They're supposedly always here. They're the ones that run the place, and the demiurge is, they're his minions. The demiurge being the Greek word for, I believe it actually means half maker or maker, it's got several translations, like a builder, but not the builder, like a subcontractor, I guess you could say. Am I right? Yes, something like that. And then
That's so creepy.
That is
and
very creepy.
So creepy.
and then this demiurge, allegedly, from what the Gnostics believed, they believed in the word Sophia, which actually means wisdom. Wisdom made the demiurge without consulting her male counterpart. And because of that, and that's why Jeff calls him the rat bastard, because he's an illegitimate creation. And these are ancient Gnostic texts from 2,000 years ago. They were discovered in the Nag Hammadi cave in the desert, and they're only surviving actual Gnostic text. Everything was destroyed. As Jenny mentioned, everything. Okay, anytime groups of this happen in significant numbers, they're all put to death.
Yeah.
The group?
Have a fun ride home, guys.
I'm talking about hundreds of thousands.
Oh, I'll go first.
Our fearless leader.
If you look at the Cathars,
It's good. It's good.
if you look at the Cathars, that's an entire group of people in Europe. Up to 1 million of them were killed by the Catholic Church. They had a completely different look on reality. They thought that we were angelic beings trapped in matter. They believed that Yahweh was a really bad guy, a bad demiurge.
And they were right.
And they believed that we needed to escape.
I never heard of this stuff before.
It's not, it's because, you know why? Because there's official, authoritative, yeah, there's an authority out there that wants to tell us what thing about reality. If you could think outside the box, then you could start to, but there's an authority, they want you to choose. They got a menu for you. You can be an atheist, you belong to one of these religions. There's religions of submission, there's religions of everything is one. It's all beautiful. It's love. Don't worry about it. There's no evil. And then there's, so you can pick from one of those. And they don't care where you go when you pick one of those. You can flourish. You can have big churches. You can make the Scientology Center down here.
Where do you get to sleep? Tell me about that one.
When you get to sleep.
Yeah, tell me which one allows you to rest.
Oh, when you finally exit your body. At that point, you just have to not cooperate with whatever you're running into. It doesn't matter. You don't. It's just if you don't agree, they can't do anything to you. Once you realize I don't have a physical body anymore, I can't be hurt. They can't do anything to you.
I do not consent.
You're gonna know exactly where to go. You're gonna rest, I promise you.
I did want to make another
This is your
comment.
last life, no shot.
And all you have to do is ask yourself any questions you want. Any question you want to know, ask. Every ND or so many cases I've read, the minute they ask a question, they get the answer in their head. You're pulling information out of somewhere. It just comes back to me. So just ask whatever you want to know. How do I get out of here? What's really going on? Who am I really? Where did I come from? That's it. And those answers will pop into your head at the same moment you ask the question.
But in the natural body, it's what James talks about, and we talk about John.
It's like transmutation. Fire is so clean, you know, and it transmutes the body from one form of matter to the next. But what I wanted to say earlier, and I totally lost my train of thought, is everybody familiar with the legend of Excalibur?
With the what?
The legend of Excalibur, the sword of stone. Yeah. When I really let Thoth, and he has many names, Quetzalcoatl, feathered serpent. Some people think he was Jesus. I don't know. It doesn't, whatever. But for me, I really allowed his teachings to wash over me. And for a while, I was visiting with Thoth in his Merlin form. He took on the form of the bearded, gray, with the staff and the robe, the teacher, right?
This was before the ibis?
So, after.
Okay.
Yeah, after. This is actually pretty recent. This was last year. And he's a guide. He's a teacher that I utilize. He helps me navigate dream world and shows me things, teaches me things. I ask him to retain a lot of this in my daily life so that I can share it, write about it, apply it. But one night I had this vision and he's showing me, he's in his Merlin. He's also kind of like Gandalf the Grey or Dumbledore from Harry Potter, the wise old man. And he was showing me this village, and then he pointed in the direction of the stone, okay, the sword and the stone. And because Thoth was the master of language, the written word, the spoken word, what he did was he showed me the words in English, the sword in the stone. But what he then did was he shrunk down the essence of the sword and the stone in that text, shrunk them down to where what was revealed was the word and the tone. And so the legend of Excalibur is that he with the purest of hearts, or he who contains the proper frequency, is the only one permitted to draw the sword from the stone. And Excalibur being a weapon of light, a weapon of, just it's this awesome thing, this wonderful divine tool to get. It was made apparent to me that the sword and the stone is just a metaphor for the word and the tone. The key out of here really is the word and the tone, the combination of those two things, the language of the heart, working in tandem with the vocal cords, which is our translation, what powers us, spirit, right? And then spirit comes through us through the vocal cords, and that's how we contribute our voices to the collective. But I really wanted to share that with you because I woke up like someone just injected me with something. I was like, the word and the tone, that was it. I was like, I figured out Excalibur. And I did like a big elaborate share on Facebook, and I thought it was so great. I got like 2 likes, and they were like, "Good job." But I was impressed.
So we're ready to have lunch. If you want to have, there's some nice sandwiches that were provided, some nice others, like little stuff here that looks good. There's got bags of potato chips and whatnot here. And we do have the infamous, soon to be famous, carrot dog. So,
Carrot dogs! Nice!
so if you want carrot dogs, just come over and we're going to serve up some carrot dogs.
I drove all the way here from San Antonio for this year.
Hello! Pardon?
What is in a carrot? What's the ingredient?
It's really
Carrot.
carrot. It really is a carrot.
It's just a carrot.
Marinated
But it's
carrot.
a dog.
It's a whole carrot. It's a real whole
Look,
carrot.
okay guys, oh shit. Alright, it is a carrot.
There's no bread.
No, it's a slippery carrot. It's a carrot, for real.
Thank you.
Wow, it's really a
So if you
carrot.
want carrot dogs, just come up here and you can grab a plate. The plates are right here. Just grab one. If you want a carrot dog, I'll send you one up. You want a carrot dog?
I need that.
So I guess people probably want to grab their own bun or what?
Probably, yeah. Everyone, like, this is perfect.
Do we let people try to pick these up themselves?
Yeah, with the palm, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
for these or
Serve yourself.
Is there a spatula under there?
So you just eat a carrot.
Oh, yeah.
Little
Yeah,
spatula.
back in,
Or like a big spoon behind it.
Yeah, but it's Chinese soup.
wow.
Let me move this out of the way.
Do you really?
Spatula?
I haven't had any in so long, I'm gonna indulge.
Oh, thank you. And then we have water.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of bottled water. There's some that's cold.
Cell phone, yeah.
So
You gotta
dig
use it
in.
all the time, it's pinging off your head. Yeah.
On the back door, really.
I got Saturday outside, brings his cell phone down to nothing. Cell phone down.
Okay. Right.
I was saying,
I've tried actually, I've
Nothing to get in.
And I thought it was Revelations, and I know yeah, that's kind of like that's when I got to know. So there are bugs. So whether it was like, I
So you're very sensitive to
yeah. Hi.
Okay, this is a lot lower.
Right? They're crunchy like Cheetos somewhere. Can't lose those. You too, huh? Haven't had any in so long. We're gonna
Why have to have 2 jobs? You know, like what?
Right now, oh, did you? Yeah, I was like, just one giant swamp. David burial ground. Probably right. The beach.
Oh, thank you.
Don't spread that out. I really should do a whole. I promise.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a lot of. What is the Houston area in general?
I know.
Thank you.
Some what? Like bird? No, I thought.
I made something like this for Christmas. Except they were this. Okay, so first shot down. That was something last one.
She's gonna get some she might be the tattoo girl.
If there's any friends to come on this project, I'd like to have you on. That'd be good. I'll interview you. Yeah, I hear you. That's a double-edged sword, you know? Years ago. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I read a bunch of stuff about the office, about the book of John. So I got So you got I don't think he's doing anything with it, but he's like literally very. Isn't that weird? Hey, what happened? Like this little baby goat, man. I was like, it's like this is my wife. I was on his website like 5 years ago. Check it out. So just kind of, I was like, okay, here's what keep going, keep going. Yeah, that's the main thing that just to the point of where they're willing to say, there's nothing else. I'm not going to give them sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's a fascinating thing. I just think that's it's like a root friend of mine, you know. Give your business a good challenge I've had.
Guys, they aren't hitting more in plain sight than people. You're talking like they feel more than well, they need to put the job but whether they do
She was going to make her decision. I was on my way. I was on my way to do it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I got
I had to stop. I couldn't have just done it right, but it's kind of tricky to put it in practice. That's
I've actually had a pretty cool revelations about YouTube.
I'll take that.
I've had some cool revelations.
You might be left-handed or ambidextrous or something like that. Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, but that's weirdo and
And we have to.
You can tell me that. You can tell me that.
It is, man. It's
I might be but I have
Nothing is nothing like scary.
We got the bingo board.
No, I just got patched. It was funny because
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I just want to say out the last 5 minutes of that day. Yeah, chickens and
Stuff like that, but I know, like what's the right from the wrong.
how are you getting all these awesome I'm not in the real this is actually okay. Rex, I should probably end that for lunchtime.
But
Should I end that or just let it run?
Let it run, man. Yeah. All of them watch me eat.
Yeah.
and then you were
The league project. Rex. For the league project?
Yeah, there were people who wish they were here. I've never really gone.
Yeah, were you in the goal for
Not, it's not really. I mean, so.
You look familiar. I thought maybe I saw you in Idaho before.
No, but I wore it for you though.
Nice. Thank you.
But I thought of you, I got it, and I was like,
Yeah, get in on that, man. Say hi.
Okay. It was actually tell me your name there. Eric Johnson. More 727. I wish I could tune down where you guys live. Yeah.
that's why you made that film
Right, and you
Hey everybody, Rex League Project. Well, yeah, you hire yourself. How would I actually yeah, I'm in here. Hello. I didn't mean to. Alright, so anyway, we're here right now. And Heidi's doing charts, and she is doing really crazy. People out here from Boston, and too bad you guys can't be here. Say something. Heidi just brings it half of flip the ball, she's buzzing right now, and she's taking shots of the ball. And yeah, so, and then you can see we've got.
That camera's good.
Yeah, we're on the days.
Yeah, step by step. Move yourself from here first.
I can't do it. I accidentally took off Heidi's legs. That was an accident. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry. Hello. But then, there's Jeff, the legend. We've got some awesome people hanging out. Yes, you can see. You guys are missing out. I'm telling you. You guys should buy tickets. You guys should buy tickets.
There will be like you did it. More seminars. We'll do this again. Those are good. We'll rally everybody. Do this again. Bigger.
Yes.
More topics.
Yes.
Do a whole weekend. Why not? Yeah. Bring the family.
Bring the family. Bring the family and the food. And these are good people from Canada. That gentleman right there. Canada.
Yeah, Katie.
And
Sorry,
I was reading the black. We've got like 14 different black Suburbans right now. And there's helicopters flying over. And
Jenny, you're very well spoken.
be back. We'll be live.
And
Oh my gosh,
I mean, I'm very familiar with you and Heidi. I watched a few videos. And I guess the few that I saw, I think pretty entire. I didn't even send that, and so they're still fun and everything. And then I saw another video where you were, whatever the dynamic was, and you were. I feel like every time I hear you speak, I learn more about it. And I'm involved in things like. There's so many faces. Yes, but I heard you speak, and I said that she must have built this, like you said, the charter that you're like, oh, I'm just kidding, but you didn't. Sometimes. Right. But I heard you speak about the political thing, and I just like you just continue to. I mean, I don't get chills, so I'm not trying to like feed you necessarily, but I think you have a check to be able to tell you that you constantly. You never cease to amaze me with the, especially your presentation, very well spoken.
It keeps my ego intact, right? It's just my guy.
How many you said you have kids? How many kids do you need?
Yeah, but before the end of it,
If I don't get a chip.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right on. Thank you. We're happy to.
they maybe grow up, you know what I mean? Like, they may be before that.
Yeah, I don't have kids, so I can only imagine. Just like I would be just mesmerized, looking at the baby. You're like, I made this. Yeah.
Great job. No, it's a prototype.
Hey Rex, is there anything too crazy for the Leap project?
Yeah.
There are things?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Name one.
I can't name. You know.
But he's gonna get
Yes. when you do that Howard Stern's.
Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. I might actually do that. I've got the wig outside. Yeah. Oh wait, are we still being live? We're live, man. Are we? I should look at the wig right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
He's just like, Jenny, how does Rex help people like us? Why would Rex have you on
Maybe 10,000 followers. She's at 200,000.
It's like 72 different dimensions. Yeah. I had 10,000 followers.
I saw you like
Step into a dimension where it's like, it's like a
Jenny's so shy.
So much love.
Everything touched this deal.
They locked you guys in there for like.
That's the way I kind of feel.
And how would you react if you called that? Would it help them or would it hurt them?
I thought they were trying to get him up.
Okay. So you want to? I'll go when we come back from lunch. Yeah. I'll put on the Brother Jeff song and do it with that. Do it. Yeah. When should we come back? When should we come back from lunch?
I don't know. What do you think? 10 minutes? 5-10 minutes?
Was that enough? Do you think people are?
I think people are ready to go.
Okay. About 10-15 more minutes, folks, and we'll crank up the extravaganza once more.
I'm eating my hair.
Oh, yeah.
So shall I go over to Brother Jeff right now?
Oh yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Bella, have you ever seen Brother Jeff? Bella, have you seen Brother Jeff? Brother Jeff? No. Ozzy Stern. Ozzy This is the original prototype. Biocosmic energy sensor. Serious? We should interview you sometime. All right. Right on. All right. Smile, say cheese puffs. Cheese puffs. Real nice. Right on. Oh yeah. That's awesome. You're definitely getting fun.
Where they did like interviews with the crazy conspiracy theorists, and that's one of the things.
My dad's dad was from Bonanza.
That's awesome.
Bonanza. I'm asking for land.
Okay. Nice.
You like it, dude? You like that, huh?
Yeah, I love carrots. Yeah. The cork.
When you open your mouth, I was like, oh my God.
Wow, thank you. There's lots of it. I have a head earpiece in this. To say, so it's all none of it's natural. Okay, I get that. Yeah. Let's get right.
But I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I can do that. Absolutely, I can do that.
Oh, thanks. with the Venetian dialect originally, so I'm Italian. But if I'm in Venice, they think I'm a local.
Okay. The camera's on live. No,
Oh, yeah.
take a picture.
I have actually thought about that. To write a fictional novel.
Hi, y'all.
Yeah.
You knew Brother Jeff was going to have to show up for this shindig. You know he'd be here. I'm here. Brother Jeff, I love it when a plan come together like this. Uh-huh.
That's a great shirt and
Hello. Ozzy Stern. Look at this. This is what you call a dynamic duo.
Reptilian overlords.
We look very extinguished, don't we?
Aliens.
Uh-huh.
I'm an Illuminati member.
Ozzy Stern and
He's
Brother
a Jesuit
Jeff
shill.
in the
He works
same
for the
place,
Jesuits.
same time.
Oh.
There it is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Brother Jeff.
Nope, one more.
Oh, yeah.
Like do this every now and then. Hey man, should we come here out? Should we do like an arm wrestling?
Yeah, let's
Do an arm wrestling?
you can arm wrestle him though. Drew, he wants to arm wrestle you.
I do not.
I'm just saying. He's down.
I'll arm wrestle both of you and take
Heidi, you'll kick our ass, all right? Heidi's tough.
So y'all, Jeff want me to come in here and tell y'all now about 1 or 2 minutes, gonna get y'all back together. Heidi Vandenberg gonna be talking about her, what's it called?
Vedic astrology.
Vedic astrology. And she's gonna tell you some good stuff. Brother Jeff loves y'all. It's been a while since I saw you. I want you to know the reports of my death were greatly exaggerated. Brother Jeff gotta do what Brother Jeff gotta do, you know?
He's in the house. He's chilling.
Some of them are. I think
Reincarnation of Dr. J. Scott.
You're right.
Got
And
zombies?
it was my pleasure to meet Ozzy Stern.
I keep eating my hair, man.
Yeah. All right, y'all. It's been my pleasure to say hello to you. And we'll see you on the YouTube thing again every now and then.
Dude, look at how many people. You got 1 million people watching right now.
Nuh-uh.
1 million live streams.
No, we don't.
I put it on all my YouTube
Okay.
videos.
How many we got?
It's not 1 million.
How many people watching Brother Jeff?
Yeah, we got a few people.
I want to be able to do a screen capture. Y'all were the dynamic duo. Now you're the terrific trio. Hey, y'all.
Clearwater, Florida, baby.
Yeah.
Be here, you guys. I can't believe you're not
Brother
here.
Jeff.
This is
Ozzy
off.
Stern.
Hello.
Oh yeah, don't get no better than this right here.
This is the bestest.
Uh-huh.
Love y'all.
Bye now.
How are you?
Y'all come on.
Melanie, and I'm sorry if I asked her. Melanie, okay.
Hey Jeff, do you mind if I move this?
Beautiful outer ring.
Because I kind of need to, I have to
I
know that by
saw it right away. That really is.
All right. You been saying that for now?
I see.
You're like, I have to have that was made for me.
How are you doing?
Very well, how are you? That's actually a great look. Other job.
Bye y'all. Bye y'all.
Hey Heidi, I'm in Old Town Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, you are?
Then you can refer me to your hair salon, your hairdresser. I want to cut my hair.
That would be myself. I do hair myself.
Do you really?
I do everything, yeah. Like I haven't gone to a hair place in a long time.
Huh. I believe it. Every time I go, someone seems to not do it the way I'm like.
Well, I had to, like, because every time I would go find somebody I was spending so much money because my hair is really curly. So I get it straightened, and I do it myself, like this Brazilian blowout, and I straighten it. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it super tight curly?
It's great. It's not even like pretty tight curls. It just looks like I just got electrocuted.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's like just lion. I look like a full-blown lion.
Thanks.
You just
I might be sitting for a little bit.
I think these are props. I think if you're sitting there waiting for me, when you do readings for people, do you get into like the stone, like gemstones that are elected?
No, I'm more, I kind of look at, I'm like the detective for astrology. I'm not like, oh, there's a remedy for this or a remedy for that. Like I'm like the Tony Robbins, like you can manifest whatever you want if you put your mind to it. Like, I don't believe in crystals, spells, and shit to get things done. I believe in just actually, yeah, exactly. Right. Facts. Here's what happens. This is your talent. Go manifest it or not. Like take it or leave it. But I'm not gonna fix it. Like I can give you the advice, but I don't do the fixings.
That's probably important also if you're more information.
If you could figure that out, the switch is switch, you know, frame by frame. Oh, you set a power point?
Yeah, but I'm gonna be going all over the place.
Okay.
There's no strategy.
Just wanted to let you know.
And I know nothing about it. But a lot of people talk about it.
Hey guys. Hi Wendy. How are you?
I think this is really cool for
I've not seen myself. No, not at all. I'm just gonna put this down.
I'm going crazy here.
Hey, how you doing? You know you're live, right?
Is that your phone or
We'll talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, she can now.
That's why I'm getting a headache.
Because you don't have a tinfoil hat on?
I have my sunglasses on my head.
Oh.
I need to figure out how I can live stream this stuff out the whole day.
Have you done any shows dealing with the ringing in the ears thing?
Yeah. Not specifically, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's some people think they're targeted individuals. I agree. Yeah, right. Yeah, I was so shocked in Kansas City. Yeah, it's cool, right? I like it.
shows up on Amazon, like, you don't know what generation you want to get. No, that was fun. That's my next thing. Because I've got the telescope to see stuff, you know. I love that. That's cool. I got it. It's awesome. Yes, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I like the double series. Yeah, that's an interesting place. You know, yeah, about 3 years ago. When I first started. Yeah, right on.
So what is the verdict on the carrot dog? Okay? All right. Anybody have any bitches about the carrot dogs? You remember the rules? Before we get started introducing Heidi, I just wanted to, we have a special guest named Eric. He's got a CD out. I wanted to stand up and tell you real quickly about that.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter. And anyway, I got a new CD out. Some Americana music, if you kind of like rockabilly, early rock and roll. Traditional country. I call it the good country. Yeah, and it's my website's Eric O here at herenow.com.
Eric O at herenow.com.
Yes, and I've got a Facebook page. It's Eric O Official, and so anyway, it's on iTunes, CD Baby, Spotify, Amazon, and I brought a couple in the car, but I parked way back over there. But I appreciate you letting me play.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erica. Now this next lady, let me get in the camera shot. Can we see you, Heidi? Yeah, we can see you. This next lady really needs no introduction for anyone here. It's been my pleasure to be on Channel 27 with Heidi Vandenberg. It's been my pleasure to have her on my channel many, many times. Heidi is, in my opinion, one of the foremost Vedic astrologers. I know she'll say no, she's not. But I think she really is. I think she's good with the science. She's like Jenny a lot. She's very intuitive as well in her readings. Pioneering even, people might say. And I was a little bit skeptic, which means to say I was a lot of bit skeptic. And I think it was on your show or you were on my show, and Heidi asked me my birthday and did my chart, and ladies and gentlemen, it blew me away. But I think Heidi's going to talk about a little bit more than just the nuts and bolts, but what it means, why it's important, and how you can use it, right?
Right.
Absolutely. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Miss Heidi Vandenberg.
This is going to kind of bounce around all over the place because I thought about how can you get the best out of this and out of what I'm going to say. And how I learned, I am standing here because of him. Because I was having a panic attack, thinking the world was going to end, and I got directed to his YouTube channel. So like, how it all manifested and how it all played out is quite amazing. Because I am I did mortgages. I was not an astrologer. That's why I'm still skeptical about saying that. I call myself a life coach because it's very hard for me to digest when I say astrologer. It sounds too gypsy for me, you know what I mean? So I'm more of a practical person, all right? And so I'm not really a teacher. I'm gonna say that these are some great Vedic astrologers, Joni Patri, Ernst Wilhelm, Kapil. This is the list, so if you wanna look at any of these people, they are who I learned from. And then a little bit of my own, like, diverting of charts too, just investigating. So I'm gonna take you through my life and kind of show you how this changed my life. So there's me as a young little child. You can't even see that.
Now I'm going to turn off the lights.
Because I want you to be able to see my chart at least. I can just blow it up.
I'm sorry. Nice glass.
And for me, so I'm gonna be bouncing all over the place, like I said, but I hit a boiling point. I hit a roadmap, like a roadblock when I was, let's see, I got divorced. It was we'll go through my timeline, but.
One more light off, or is that good?
You can't really see it.
Yeah, one more light.
Okay. So I'm born September 12th, 1984, 1338. This is my chart right down here. So when you see that I have a really heavy chart, I'm a Scorpio ascendant, I have Mars and K2 in the first house. And it is literally the 9/11 terrorist attacks happened at this point. So you have to understand that like when I got readings, they were negative. They were like, you are violent, you are crazy, you're angry, and I am. Like, yeah, I can be crazy and I can be violent and I can be, quite honestly, I had a lot of struggle with this stuff when I was younger. But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have I strive for the success. So as you can see how this chart plays out, like I was looking at, I found this stuff. These are all my ribbons when I was a child. When I was a little kid, a go-getter. I was very nice, sweet little kid, athletic, and then it all like hit the fan. And you'll see what the timeline.
Cute.
No, yeah, you'll see the timeline of events. So I was a great student. Okay, this is awfully interesting. Do you see this? I drew this when I was I would say this was 11th grade. I actually did become a loan officer and I sell new construction. I like mapped this out in my life.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you some. This is when my life hit the fan. 8th grade, Christian school. I have to sit down. As you see, I changed my report cards. Do you see these report cards? Like I barely graduated high school. I graduated high school with a 1.98. People have said, how did you even do that? So, like, I really had a lot of, and it was all these issues because I was lost. Okay, nothing made me happy. Nothing, nobody, no one. I had everything, like I always have. But I had this void, and I was afraid. I was always wondering where you're gonna go when you die. So, this is kind of all over the place, but I just can't go in line here. Okay, so in 2000. I get married, okay? 5, 7, 10. Keep in mind, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my life and tell you some things and events that have happened, but I was engaged once, left him, married once, left him.
Not to me, either of those.
And never happy. Like I made money very easily as a young woman, 21, I was making 6 figures.
Wow.
And nothing made me happy, nothing. So I wrote my ex-husband a letter. And you can read it. I'm not going to say this, but you can see. You would have saw where I was at this age, at this stage of my life, and this was in 2012. You would have been like, "What the hell's going on with this girl?" I mean, I was lost. I was a mess. Then I found astrology. I found this at my Saturn return, and I'm going to take you through some of the dates to show you exactly how this works. So this is Cala software is what I use. Another thing I'm going to show you. So I wrote this book when I was a child, Mystery of the Treasure Map. Okay. I drew this picture.
How old were you, Heidi?
This was 90. What was it?
Mm-hmm.
94. I literally did nails for a couple months. My parents owned a bar, but I did bartend. And then also I went to school for corrections, criminal justice. You wouldn't know that now, but yes, that's my passion. So the point is, you have these certain paths, these certain traits in your life that you're always going to want to, you're going to have these interests. And if you don't manifest them and you don't use them, you're lost. When you don't know what you're here to do, what your life purpose is, that's when you get lost, and that's when you get stuck. And I was stuck, because I still, until I met Rex, and I finally feel now that I have that. I feel like I'm on that path, but until then, you can make bad decisions if you don't know these things, and you can just feel lost. And I was truly worried, I was so scared to die. thinking I'm going to hell. I was a Christian, crazy Christian. I used to write Heidi loves Jesus on the walls. So I wish I had pictures of that. But I'm not. It was like I was always worried. What happens when you die? What happens when you die? And I just couldn't. I couldn't wrap my head around like, oh, you're just gonna die, and then you're just gonna go to heaven and hell, and you could just. It just doesn't logistically make sense. So I had a brother who had cerebral palsy, and he had a mindset of an 8-month-old. He had seizures, and this is when it all began. So I was made fun of really bad for this, and bullied, I guess you could say, whatever. And it really put something that triggered in my head that made me mad, angry, like, what the hell's wrong with people? And I still have a lot of guilt because these are situations and circumstances that are thrown in your life that, sometimes you just don't even know why. Like, you're like, well, why did God do that? That's what I would say. Why did Jesus, if he was so great, like, why did he do that to my brother? My brother has never sinned. Didn't make sense. Logistics, like I was all about the facts. So I found this, and I can tell you this has changed my life so much because I accepted who I was. This gave me answers, like this is why. It is put into my life for this reason. So, let's see here. I'm gonna go through some events.
I mean, Heidi, didn't you say, like, until you really figured out the Vedic astrology thing, you kind of had a lot of different things you dealt with, and then once you figured it out,
Yeah.
it would just kind of put everything in place for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, and please ask questions during, because this is going to be more interactive than, like, giving you a presentation. So, this is my chart. In Vedic astrology, you have 12 houses. Okay, the one being your body, your ascendant, your first house. It's going to be how people see you, how your life path is. Your second house is finances, money, beliefs. Your third house is siblings. Your third house is also, I'm just going to give you a couple of bullets. I mean, there's a million things that these houses mean. Siblings, it's also it's hard work, it's hobbies, competitiveness. Fourth house is mother, homeland. It's also your happiness and your emotions. And your fifth house is children, creativity. Sixth house is your day-to-day work life, enemies that you know of. Your seventh house is anybody you interact with. So it's like, seventh house is marriage partnerships, business partnerships, and just others. Eighth house is endings, death and rebirth. It's also secrets, mystery, occult. Let's see. The ninth house is the ninth house is your higher knowledge, but it's also like PhDs. And Cancer is my ninth house, and it goes around. You see it goes starting at the ascendant. Then the 10th house is career, fame, publicity, how people see you in the public, government, status. The 11th house is money, big money. It's also your hopes, wishes, dreams. And then the 12th house is endings, letting go, death, secrets, mysteries, sex. The 8th house is also sex.
A lot of sexy time.
Yeah. So that's just like a gist, right? You have these 12 houses, and then okay. So then wherever these planets are configured, right? That's how they sit in your chart. This is going to tell you a lot about your personality. So I have Mars in K2 conjunct in the first house. Well, that I can tell you that describes why I drew that prison at 10 years old. And the time that I actually did this is where I needed to print out before I got here. I'm sorry. I have to just kind of. I'm just going to show you a couple of triggers.
Yes, Heidi.
Actually. Okay. Great example. This was the first big move I had, okay, in my life. This is when I found guys. They were a distraction when I was like looking for things, and this is when my life kind of started going like this. From being a great student, athletic, had all these goals, ambitions, sweet to their brother, down the tube. So we moved, and you can see what triggers a move. Saturn in the 4th house, right here.
Okay, Heidi, can you explain to us why that Saturn in the 4th house would constitute a move?
Okay, so then each planet, this is the only thing why this is really hard is because there's so many factors that you have to learn about astrology. But let me just go with. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold so you guys can see. This is all the houses and what they mean. This is all the planets. So Saturn's transformation, Saturn's fear, servant. But Saturn is also like something that's definitely gonna influence and make something happen in your life. This transit is a 2-year transit, 2.5. So it's like those are the planets that you really need to look at is Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars, or I'm sorry, Rahu, Ketu. These are the big ones. So in the 4th house is why I moved. We're just gonna go back and forth. So Saturn was in the 4th house. I also went into a Ketu dasha. So then there's dashas, and this is kind of getting a little too advanced here, but your moon nakshatra that you're born in. So my moon's in Revati. What rules Revati? Mercury. And so I was born in a Mercury dasha. What happens here is your dashas are certain time periods of life. So after my Mercury dasha, then I went into a Ketu dasha. Ketu and Rahu, wherever they sit in your chart, they're going to have the most influence in your life. That's your lessons. Like you have Ketu conjunct your moon. Yours is about your emotions, your mother. Mine's in my ascendant. It's about figuring myself out. Like I had a massive identity crisis, when I went during my Saturn return. And I didn't know why I was here, who I was, why I hated everybody, why I wanted to leave my husband because he was so nice to me, like why nothing made me happy, money, nothing. And I was just like, and that's what happens when you have the nodes in your 1st and 7th house. You're always trying to figure your own self out. So Ketu is especially because Ketu doesn't have a head. Okay, so my chart is a Scorpio rising with Mars in the 1st house, and that makes me aggressive, a go-getter, independent. But then Ketu's like, oh, but I don't really care. I'll take it. But then it's like a constant. It's hard because you want to go for it, and then you're like, oh, yeah. Now what's next? I don't really care, right? And this is my struggle with men, with relationships, with work. I mean everything. So you have.
Is there no joy, Heidi?
Well, I don't want to say there's no joy. It's just you've already experienced it.
It's like this gentleman here. It's like Greg. You and Greg share that concept.
Nothing like I wanted all this money and all this materialistic stuff. Then I get it and I'm like, what's next? Like you're just done with it. But then you want it. Like you still want it. Like I still want nice things. I still want to live a certain lifestyle, which is why I have to work 2 jobs. Why I have bills.
I remember you going back earlier saying that you wanted to figure out what happened to you after you die. So I know you're a Scorpio ascendant.
Right.
And that has to do with that, but where is that leading to for you in the scope of that?
So I couldn't just, like my brother never sinned, has the mindset of an 8-month-old, he's never sinned and he has to live this whole miserable life.
How
That
long
didn't
did he
make
live,
sense.
right?
31. Yeah. He had a feeding tube. Lived in a home. Like he had a feeding tube, he couldn't eat, walk, talk, anything. And like he's suffering. And I was embarrassed, and I didn't see him for 20 years. I had a lot of guilt. Like I actually didn't even see him before he died. So these are like my own demons that I have to deal with. But that's in my chart. It's in his chart too. And when I could see that in the charts, that it was in the charts, that's when I got into the whole Hindu thing and believing in reincarnation, past lives. Because I look at things like, we don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen when we die. Nobody has facts. Let's all face it. We could sit here and have all these theories, all these ideas. We have all these, hopes. But the reality of it is we don't know. We're going to hope for the best, and just that's how I look at this. But I feel like if you do the right thing, you help others, you're not an asshole, you don't kill anybody. Well, you don't kill anybody. You don't, meaning don't slaughter somebody and whatever. Like a serial killer thing. But as long as you don't do those things,
Count me out there.
you're going to go to a better place. Or you're going to not deal with the same stuff that you deal with now. So you have to, I look at everything from a logical perspective, not, because we don't know.
But can you change anything? Is there something there that, you know, if you say you struggle with things,
Yeah.
is there a way that you can change it? If you see something strong in your chart, or your client sees
I've been,
something.
okay, so I've been trying to change it still to this day, and it's very hard to change. You have to just be aware of it and know, if you're aware, you can make better decisions, but can you change it? No. I don't think, my chart's not changeable, it's like fixed. Depends on your sign, depends on, you change into other charts too.
Oh, and then, like, I always identify as Cancer, that's
Right.
my son, but my rising is Virgo, and you're saying that astrology, that's who I am, is the Virgo. How do I,
So I would say your chart is looked at it as a way, okay. Your ascendant is important for sure, because it's your body, it's your roadmap. It's gonna be how you look. It's gonna be how people see you, how you want people to see you. It's like their first impression. But it's kind of your mask too. But it is your pathway, your, like, everything you do on this world, it's gonna be, you know, your initiative, courage, you know, just all that, your first house, your head. So yeah, it's definitely important, but you have to look at the whole chart.
so then the 12th, the first house of your rising, the 12th is the one that is regards to death.
Yes.
So what does that mean then for the sign?
So if you want to look at the 12th house and say, what does the 12th house mean?
For me, it would be Leo, because that's after Virgo. correct?
Okay, yeah. So for you, I would say that your 12th house, do you have planets in it?
I don't think so. I think, no, I don't. Oh, yes, Pluto and Neptune.
Do you have your birth time and stuff right now?
June 26, 1960, June 25, 1966.
June 25, what was it?
June 25th, 1966,
Mhm.
and my 11:40 a.m. Houston, Texas.
I got paint stuck in the floor.
Heidi, was there a new sign added in astrology?
Or is that?
I don't know, a fucus, I mean, possible.
What'd she say?
It's possible.
She said she didn't know.
The software companies say no, because they have to read it also.
Right, that's kind of how I believe. Okay, so you're a Virgo ascendant. Well, look at those degrees. See, and this is where you have to wonder. You're only not even 1 degree of a Virgo ascendant. So if they recorded this time wrong, and if it was 11:40 or 38, okay, you would be a Leo ascendant. This whole chart would change. 2 minutes if the times were wrong.
So they have the date wrong on my birth certificate, the day, so that's wrong. So they could have got the time wrong.
They probably, if they got that wrong, yeah, definitely.
And what if you're a forced birth induced by drugs like they used to do back in the?
That's interesting. When Jenny brought that up,
Back in the 80s.
so when Jenny says this, she says this to me, and I'm like, well, obviously they're showing you that astrology works if they're inducing babies to have them born at certain times for certain reasons. There's something to it.
Does it still work? Or is it make it askew if you weren't naturally
No,
born?
I mean, if you were born at that minute, yeah,
Depending on, doesn't matter if you were drug induced or not?
no, it's still gonna be the same chart.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
I would say it is, yeah.
I can tell you that she did my chart and my daughter's chart, and we were both premature.
Yeah.
And she's right on the money with my hers, so.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
must be the time and date.
It's the first breath.
Yeah, it's the first, when you take your first breath, so
Thank you, I was wondering about that.
it's really hard because this stuff is like so, I'll just show you, for
Good
instance.
question.
Yes.
What about at the time of conception? I remember Jeff showing, and I'd seen it, I think the day before he showed it, where, it was published in the UK, where they saw that sparkle light upon
Oh,
conception.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I think I was a little dubious on it, I'm not sure, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
How could you buy it really know?
Well, here,
Very interesting.
so your chart, what is your name now? Sorry, here.
One type of personality is.
Okay. These charts right here too, these are charts within charts. So like this is a chart how you're gonna make money. You can literally predict how much money you're gonna make like that. You can make decisions on money with this stuff. I mean, this stuff gets really intense. I don't use it, I use it for myself for that, like when I'm gonna invest or gamble or do something like that, but not for, or I'll know when I'm gonna sell houses. I sell homes when the moon is in Mula and when the moon is in Revati, and then when
Kind of
the
like
moon
those farmers' almanacs.
it's like that. They're all patterns. I learned this just from reading everybody's charts, looking at it on my own self, exact timelines. But you're gonna make money through health and healing. Like you are a natural healer no matter what. You're good with your hands. You're like Jeff. That's why you're skeptical about. You're gonna be skeptical about a lot of things at first until you have facts, because Virgos are like that. When you're good with your hands. Hasta, you're also probably a good writer. Good at healing, good at, health. You're just all that, like the organic stuff. You probably have natural green thumbs. Even if you don't like it, you're just good at gardening and all that stuff as well. You have K2 in the second. So definitely there can be some issues growing up, like when you're early childhood, could be money, finances. Like you worry about money, you care about money, but you don't care about money. You have that weird, you'll spend money, but then you want to save money. It's an imbalance, that's because K2 is sitting there. Wherever K2 sits, you're learning those lessons. Yours is about money, finances, family, your speech. You're supposed to be speaking. You're probably like shocked. Like for me, to get up here and sit here and tell people about like my secrets, I can't even believe I'm doing it, because that's not me. I like people to know like what I want them to know. So the fact that I'm actually up here talking about all this stuff, like if you would have thought, I would have never thought that would have happened 2 years ago. Yes.
Going back to you about everything that's been in your life.
Yeah.
And about goals, achieving them.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have it, whether it's a man, a job, a car, whatever it is. Once you have it, did that. Maybe that's why astrology is so fulfilling, because it's deep. You can never really be done. There's so many different areas you can take this in.
Very true.
And she was saying that about, can you change it? No, you're not going to change the chart. It's set in stone.
Yeah, your chart's set.
But knowing it helps you temper your movement.
Exactly.
Or your decisions.
Make better decisions.
So maybe this is why this feels so right to you, is this a challenge that I don't think you can see yourself saying, I accomplished it.
No, and I don't want that. Because I can't have that with this. There's so much that you can do with it. Yeah.
Great
and I feel like I've always wanted to help people. I just didn't know how. Like I've always wanted to help people. Like I don't care about the money. It's all about just helping. Because.
And it's a good karmic tool for you, because I'm sure doing karmic things to your personality doesn't come naturally easily. You want to.
Yeah.
It's just that you're practical mind.
I am.
That's a waste of time.
Because I don't trust anybody. And you guys have to understand, I didn't go here, but there are reasons why I turned started sabotaging myself with relationships. I mean, there were events in my life that happened when I was 12 and 13. Yeah, I put myself in a scenario, but still, it happened. It is what it is. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. Like, no one, unless I have their chart. I won't meet anybody unless I know what time they're born. It's psychotic. Yeah, it definitely is, okay? It's absolutely absurd. But if you see, I have a detective personality since a child. The secret of the treasure map. I'm always trying to figure things out. It's just, I want to know things that nobody else knows. That's what fulfills me.
But see, it's not psychotic for you, because it's going to save you a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, but even she knows it's psychotic.
I love the honesty.
It's a fully functional psychotic.
It is. It totally is.
Perfect. Just right.
It is so me.
It's a tool. It's not psychotic.
No,
it's something unique.
Look, but it's great because people are like, "Don't you take it a little too extreme?" No, because I don't waste time. I don't waste my time with men that are going to cause me a bunch of stress and drama. If I know it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Right? Simple. You just cut through the details. Like there's no BS. It's just done. If somebody's going to screw me over, I'm not going to get into business with them. Done. Like if it's that kind of chart. Now I do make tests and I do, see if it works. I'm always trying to rebelliously flip it. But when it all boils down to it, it always happens the way in the charts. It really does. It's so crazy.
Chart, I'd be scared to leave the house in the morning without reading,
Yeah, It's dangerous.
Question, you were talking about, you got to the, you said 12 there are 12 houses?
Yeah.
And the 12th house is death?
The 12th house, but it's also other realms.
Sure, I'm sorry.
You know,
Not
so
to
it's like
simplify is death in other houses as well?
the 8th house.
Oh, 8.
And then there's also houses that are, the 2nd house and the 11th house and the 7th house actually kills somebody. Like my brother died, when my brother passed away, he had planets in his 7th house. So I have analyzed all those where it's not really the 12th house is when you die.
So I shouldn't have volunteered
Yeah.
tonight.
No.
So can death appear in multiple houses, and if so, what it could be death related, maybe related to deaths, or what about our own death? Is that somewhere?
That's kind of what I should have said that. So your own death is in probably the 7th house. But
Okay.
you have that in a transit.
Okay.
That's what it's going to be. Like, but for instance, there's a thing called from house to house, where if you want to know if your brother's going to die, you look at the 3rd house, count 8 houses over. That's going to be the death of the sibling. So it's just very, you have to know these things on the fly. And for me to sit here and explain them like I can't, it's just because my mind just goes.
Lots of notes, yeah.
Kind of an autistic child, if you throw matches on the floor, they can't explain to you, well, I've calculated this amount, they just know there's 173 matches on the floor.
Wow.
Instantly. You're insane, you're so brilliant.
It's
Just stop and explain to people takes the power away.
And quite honestly, and
Get back.
I'm not a good teacher. Like
Yeah.
I don't have that patience where I'm like, okay guys,
What you do
you know.
is your gift, not teaching.
I was just curious about the death
I'm
aspect
more
of the chart, because we're talking about death. That's all. I was just curious about like that trying to focus on that aspect of.
Well, let me show you how. Like my 12th house, I have Saturn in the 12th house. So what is Saturn? Fear. So I had a fear of death. Simple, right there. Also, my brother, which is the 3rd lord. The sibling is the 3rd house, okay? The 3rd house, Saturn, goes into the 12th house. It's there. 3rd lord goes into the 12th house, meaning he was in a home. Just like a prison. It was like a prison. My God, he lived with, yeah. You know, I mean, it was. And I would always sit there and look at him and say, wonder if he knows what's going on. Like, what if he knows?
Oh my God.
He was molested in this home, guys. Like, there was a lot of things that have happened. And then there was a lot of, and then I just couldn't deal with it. Like, but at least to say, like, oh, Jesus did that so he would heal the world. That didn't make sense. That wasn't okay. He healed so many people. Who did he heal? I don't know anybody he healed. You know, and for me, to see it in the charts and say, okay, he did some bad stuff in a past life, I can make sense of that. You know, so that's how.
Heidi?
Yeah.
Sorry, did you have some back? I have to notice that it's, I don't know, kind of a curveball maybe, and it kind of piggybacks off from what our radioactive nuclear friend was saying, and maybe even answer some things for Greg. But as far as, you know, reading a chart goes, in '97 I was killed in a car accident, and I was brought back 4 different times.
We'll show it. Do you know your time?
The time that it happened?
Your birthday. You're like the time.
Yeah, 11/4/69 I was born. 4:23 in the morning.
So cars, accidents, ready? Hold on, before I put them in, just so you guys can see this as proof for yourself. Cars, accidents are 4th house, 6th house, 8th house. These are gonna be the transits you're gonna look at. Accidents, okay? And then something in the 1st house too, because the 1st house is your body.
See, she's telling us what to look for. It's like
Yeah.
a formula.
Yeah.
It's like a formula. And you plug in, you know, the variables.
Okay.
Part of the thing is that
Year again, I'm sorry, one more time, so the year, 11/4.
69.
And the time?
4:23.
4:23 a.m.
And the city?
Tuesday morning. Howell, Michigan.
Hollow, like hollow.
Howell. It's next door to Howell, Michigan.
Howell.
Howell, is that accent?
Howell.
She's definitely gonna be right.
But see, the thing is, as far as like reading a chart for me, I mean, on a scale of, I think the Glasgow scale is 1 to 10, 1 being the worst. I was between a 2 and a 3. I mean, I was supposed to be a vegetable the rest of my life. And I was in a coma for a month, and since coming out, looking back at things prior to that, to me, it's like my mind is somebody else's memories.
Yeah.
It's not, I can remember things okay, but it just doesn't feel like my memories. It feels like somebody else's memories altogether.
Okay, it's interesting. No, you have blocked things out too. Okay. So this is your first house, right? This is. You see all this stuff in the first house, Venus, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto? Wow. Another thing I should have mentioned, Venus is cars, vehicles. It's also pleasures, luxuries, all that nice stuff, but it's cars. So if we had a reading, I would have said to you, have you ever been in an accident, a car accident, or you're accident prone? And why? Because there's planets in the first house and it's Venus. Then you have Moon and K2 in the 12th. This is the serious moksha. Just like you have K2 conjunct Moon, you have the same type of thing. Detachment, you can detach from any situation within seconds if you need to. You have a natural blockade. You can also, this type of conjunction in this nakshatra is all about, very intuitive for sure. You know things before they happen. But you can lucid dream in other realms, do all this weird stuff. But it's also the house of death and like where you would not die. This Moon conjunct K2 is exactly what you just said. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is in that 6th house? I can't see. Is that Rahu? Does that say RA up there?
Can't see.
Let me see.
It's a little bit blurry.
Rahu in the 6th. What's Rahu? Unexpected events, accidents, explosions, innovations. It's also riches, luxuries.
Yeah,
It can be great things too. Fame, but it's also Rahu is unexpected events. They can do that accidents. That's why I always say, if you have Rahu in your first house, drive slow for the next year and a half. All the Cancer ascendants, that's what I've been saying to you, because they have Rahu in their first house. And then 12, 10. So yes, let's go to your transit of the day it happened.
Yeah, interestingly, I had a girlfriend about 6 months ago that had lost one of my cars. Somewhere in a 30-mile radius.
Dude, where's my car?
Dude, where's my car?
I guess she was drugged up. Sweet! How she arrived, where she arrived at. But it was lost somewhere within a 30-mile radius. Now, I had a 30-mile radius around here and locating that vehicle.
How drunk do you have to be to lose
I
a car?
wasn't actually having a shot. Anyway, I had a vision of a water fountain. Just a sporadic water fountain. I kept seeing it and kept seeing it. I thought, there's only one of those that I know of around here.
You reviewed it.
I drove there and boom, there's the car.
Dude.
I looked right above it. and there's that
Waterfall? Is that what you said, waterfall?
Sweet.
Oh,
You got an image.
Okay. All right, here's the deal. Back to you. What date was the accident? Do you remember the day? You said 97?
Yeah, it was October 10th of 97.
Was that after your near-death experience that you had that happen? Without the car in the waterfall?
Oh, that was just
city?
recent.
Oh.
So you've had more than one accident.
People get more psychic?
Oh, I had.
Absolutely.
Well, this is the main accident I was talking about, that situation.
But have you had
Finding the
more than
car.
just one car accident?
Yeah.
A few fender benders, to say the least. I mean, this
More than fender bender, yeah.
That's in the chart. So Venus, everybody acts like, when you're Venus doing something good, it also does, gives you good, but it also gives you negative effects too. It's not all pleasure, luxury, great things. Venus can go another way too. So 1997, do you know the time about and?
Of the accident?
Yeah.
I think it's like 10 o'clock at night.
In the city?
No, country. Oh, what city? I apologize. Traverse City, Michigan. Traverse City.
Traverse. Yeah. Did you not, and this was in your death, when you died, you said you died. What did I say when I said, when you die, you have planets in the 7th house? Did I say that? Mm-hmm. Look at his 7th house. This is his 7th house. The Sun, Venus, you see that? Like it's right here. 3rd house is the house, I should have said this, is like, it's traveling, short distance, like state to state, so quick. When you're in a car accident, usually the 3rd house is triggered too, actually. And look, the Moon Mars and Jupiter were in the 6th, that's the 6th house, is another accident. I mean, you easily could have, and then if you look at your trends from the moon, look, K2 and Rahu in the 7th and 1st, like I said.
Car with you, honey.
Yeah, you definitely, that makes sense.
That's a good point, if he's in the car with someone else.
But then I wonder if that's your new chart. If you officially died, did you really, like they said you were dead?
They brought me back when they arrived at the scene, and I guess they'd bring me back like 3 or 4 more times after that.
That would be interesting to do, because then basically you're reborn.
That's why I said it's
Yeah,
almost like a rebirth.
Yeah.
I said my memories prior to that, I remember everything as far as I know. I remember well, but it just seems like it's not my memories.
Right.
Well, do you have any experiments that people talk about when you see light or see a beam or a void? Did you have any of that experience?
There's a lot of things that happened when I was in a coma. I don't know if it happened while I was dead or if it happened during the time I was in a coma. There's a number of things that happened.
Please share.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
We're all ears.
Elaborate, hello.
Some things pretty bad. Some things I've never really talked about. But it's interesting that certain sounds or smells, I won't remember really what happened, but certain sounds or smells will bring back the memories of what occurred. You know what I mean? I find that really weird.
Very interesting.
So last thing I'm going to show you on my chart real quick is my Saturn return. Because this was a huge, Saturn's they always talk about your Saturn return. It happens every 20 years, 28 years actually, or so. And when it's a big change for that individual. And the day of when I left my husband, like was leaving my husband and all that was happening, I'm so used to having 2 screens, it's really hard for me to like. This is the wrong chart. But the day also, like you have to look at the Saturn return. Yes, that happened, but then I also found astrology. So Saturn gives you like a traumatic, crazy, transformative event, but then it gives you a price. So it gives you like a prize, but then if you don't take advantage of it, you'll be stuck again. So you have to go for those things, and that's kind of like the whole moral of this astrology story is you have special gifts in your chart. There's potential, and you can manifest it. You can manifest it either way. I could have been a serial killer, absolutely. I could have been a terrorist. You're right, I could have, but it didn't turn out that way. You know, and that's thank God. But that's the truth. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I have to say it because it's true. When those astrologers said that to me, I was like, well, that's why I had to learn this because I was like, how do they know this? That's scary, and I'm not that way. I know I turned it to the better.
Young Oracle or American Psycho?
That's right. That's true.
It's your choice.
So true. It's your choice. And you know, Prosh, one of my teachers, Prosh Trivedi, said to me, and said this on one of my shows. He said, "You need to take control of this before they take control of you. Like you have to take control of this chart. If you don't, it will take over you, and you'll get lost, and
They'll channel your energy for you.
Yep. To the negative. And test you.
To something positive.
Exactly.
Prosh did a great show on Rex's channel.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good show. Nice guy.
So
Is he the one who believes in flat Earth?
That's
Sorry,
just a footnote.
I just wanted to ask if that gentleman who was sitting on the bed or something. And
That's him.
Got it. I was like,
And you know, for me, like that stuff, that's hard. You know, we don't know.
I was just asking. I'm sorry. I just used that as a.
No, it's good.
So you can play
Same
Sue
way.
That's it. Didn't mean to bring that up.
So anyways.
Way to go.
Do you think, let's take a head count. Who thinks the Earth is flat in here? Just curious.
I'm curious, do you think it's flat?
Nobody.
I'm not like I have one. I don't
You
think
got
so.
one?
I don't know, it could be.
Hillary, really?
I think I'm
Mystery.
I don't think
Hillary
so.
started it, Mystery finished it.
Jeff, can I see your rods? Can we ask it?
I mean, there was some valid stuff.
Oh,
with that
Rex!
argument,
You
but
get Rex didn't hold the rod.
It's really for me. Rex and
what does it matter?
Thanks, Rex.
That's how I look
I
at
mean,
it.
what's that?
I blame you, Rex.
So did you ask him?
No, you can ask him.
No, did you ask him if I could use them? They're tricky.
Oh.
You should. Oh.
Nice. That's nice, Heidi. She's
And if they say no, I'm not gonna just ask.
That was great.
Would you guys like to hang out with Heidi for a minute? Oh, yeah.
That was funny.
Because they would have.
Oh,
Rex gets to see him in person. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is really happening.
This is all.
I have brought some love of
What?
Is the earth flat?
No, it's not.
Well, hey,
Let me ask him.
Wait. You didn't. Wait, Heidi, did you ask them? Would your yes and your no for the rods?
Oh, yeah.
Or his? Maybe they don't know his.
Tell him to show you a yes, please.
Show me a yes.
Say, please show me a yes.
Please show me a yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Please show me no.
These work. My Virgo skeptical neighbor thinks these work.
Heidi, please ask him, please show me no.
Please show me no.
Okay. They're
Oh, look
working.
at that.
Very freaking.
Okay, that was pretty cool.
So let's ask him again, Heidi.
Heidi, that's how I'm gonna get my birth time, right there.
Is the earth flat?
Those things don't work.
Now I ask if the earth is round.
Is the earth round?
Yes, it has.
Half and half.
So see, it could be like.
Could be a half
it
and
might
half.
be right, it could be.
That's it.
Definition, like a shape.
Sorry.
We're talking about.
So is the earth flat?
I don't think it's flat.
Is the earth round?
Oh my God.
That's interesting.
Is the earth flat?
Wow.
Is the earth
Let's make sure I'm steady. Is the earth flat?
You stand up.
Keep saying yes. Okay.
Okay, ask
What else?
if another planet is flat.
You stand up because we can't.
Yeah. This might be my new thing.
I'll ask him in a minute.
Let the energy flow through you.
Yeah.
Is the earth flat?
Now it's saying no.
Not the whole story.
I think they're a little bit confused.
No. I need to sit.
Do you?
They're confused. They're not sure.
Well, they're my rods. I'm wondering if the energy's kind of mixed up.
Heidi, ask if Earth is a
Can it say no?
On the, yeah.
Is the earth a hologram?
Okay.
Now they're mad. See, they're getting mad.
Yeah, they're like,
feisty.
shut up.
Yeah.
Is the earth flat?
Huh.
Sorry.
That's a yes.
And you keep asking the same question.
Yeah.
It's disrespecting.
Yeah, they're getting mad. That's because we're keep asking
does
them.
that too.
Yeah, you can't.
Pretty much.
You know what? Crystal, my neighbor, they wouldn't talk to her.
They
Yeah,
wouldn't.
and that's
Maybe
why
she's-
it's
That's why I asked it.
Internally conflicted.
They
Told you
test
what you
questions.
should ask.
They wouldn't talk to me at first.
We know that this.
I think the energy.
Let's move on. Next question.
Okay. Is Heidi a good astrologer?
Stuff like, I've never tried it. Those things, you know,
Yeah.
Is there like a?
being here for water, being
Okay.
here.
Is there a hell?
No.
Praise the Lord.
Praise God. Thank you.
the Lord.
Thank you.
Is there a heaven?
Is this hell?
Okay. Are we living in hell as we know it, right here in this room? Well, not in this room.
It's hot in here.
Alright, wait.
It's hot in
That
here.
was horrible. Okay.
Of course, now I got no damn presentation to do next.
Sorry. Are we living hell
She's not
on
sorry.
this earth? What does that mean?
Maybe sort of.
For some people, they
Watch,
are, for
see?
others they aren't.
What did it do? You gotta let him do the whole, answer the whole thing. Yes, so that's a no.
Good. Are we in a waiting state? No, because it said there's no hell. Are we trapped in a prison here?
Yes.
Is Earth prison
But
round?
we can get out.
Well, it's like,
It depends, I guess.
Well, they're just going, that's a yes. It's just going round and round.
oh, it does that?
Between a subjective and objective
Oh, yeah.
experience.
Interesting.
Nice.
Ideally, you'd want to stick with your rods, but
Yeah. You have to apologize.
they do bond to people, believe it or
You know,
not.
we need to get like a twister grid and number 1 through whatever 50, and then like.
That's a great
down to
idea.
The numbers of the winning lottery number.
I don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if they'll play for money. I'm not sure.
Give it a shot.
You know what?
You know what? Val, you bring that up. It's so funny. Last weekend for the NFL, I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it, but I was afraid. 94% against the spread. You know how much money I could have made on that?
Well, let's do it next time, guys.
Because you'll be using it for good cause, you can.
That's a good point.
I feel like it will tell you, but then it could trick you with that too.
Yeah.
When you're asking,
Yeah.
like, there's certain questions that,
They just won't move.
you know, I thought I was gonna get them and just keep asking them questions, but no, they have like this weird energy, and I'm not real mystical. The rods.
I think it's the ether.
Well, I asked him. I said mine is apparently like. Gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this.
Say it.
Well, first of all, I named them the Trump rods.
The Trump rods.
I tried to name them Trump sticks. Did not like that. So mine are the Trump rods. Okay. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
Maybe they don't like it.
they like that name.
That's right. You know, I'm probably
But you know what? These things, they have a weird energy to them that some days they answer, some days they don't. I had to put them, they were in my bed with me to get them to talk to me. They wouldn't talk to me at first. They slept on my other bed.
I got close.
Yeah.
No joke.
But also, I think the intention is important, even when you answer, if the intention is to be like.
So that's my, like, I had a whole presentation, it totally went out of whack, but the point is, it's always in the charts. Everything is in the charts. If you want to know, I mean, it's there.
Can we do this just for balance? These are my rods.
Yeah.
They're used to me. Is the earth flat?
Wow.
Maybe it's different for each person.
Is the earth a sphere?
Oh no.
Then sit down and ask them. What do you think, just to be safe? Because when I stood up, they said no.
Is the earth flat?
Yeah. So weird.
Is the earth a sphere? No. Is the earth, are we being told the truth about the earth? No.
Round with no definitive shape. What are we?
Is the earth round with no definitive?
A realm.
Is the earth a realm with no definitive shape? Yes.
Nice.
There's more to it though. You see how it was kind of slow?
Yeah.
We're on the right track, but it's more to it. Is the earth flat? No.
That's a hard.
Flat is a hard. The definition of flat, we're not getting it right with the idea with the shape.
Where is Rex?
Right.
Where is Rex?
Oh, sorry.
Oh my God. That's cool.
You can do that?
Well, they're wrong because I'm not really here.
It's not really Rex.
Yeah.
I would like to witness you holding. Oh, they're his rods. Never mind. Scrap it.
I'm not holding Jeff's rod.
And I'm okay with that.
I love you, Jeff.
We have to draw the line somewhere. I mean, we have a bromance, budding, but we need to take it slow.
So, Jeff, I think the best, you decide what you want to do, but obviously I wanted to give everybody here if they wanted mini readings, so I don't know if it's going to happen today or when, but, and it's not obviously going to be like this here on the thing. So maybe I said I could make a video of the mini readings and then just put it privately for you guys, or however.
Or we could do it afterwards, depending on how much time you want to spend and how much time these good people want to spend.
So, whatever, if you guys want a reading, absolutely, I would be more than happy to do it, because that's what I like doing. This whole spiel of showing it, I'd rather just show you with showing you your chart. I'm not all about like explaining things. I'm more about you want to see it, you watch.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it just is what it is. So.
Interesting.
Alrighty, you're
All
next.
right. So let's take 5, kind of get our minutes clear. Ladies and gentlemen, Heidi Vandenberg. Is it getting stuff in here, or is it just me?
I'll be back. Live chat, I'll be back.
They just said yes again to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're flat. See? It's weird. Maybe I'm supposed to think it's flat. And you guys know.
Yeah, I just think that they attach somehow like a dog. No, dogs can still.
These, my rods were real bitchy to me. Really? Yeah, they were just not answering.
When you use them, are you
Well, I saged them. Jeff said you probably should have saged them.
Oh, no.
That's what he said.
He said use it.
Aging involves 12 rounds. So when we're looking at things,
So who created it to mimic things? Y'all the male? Okay.
So do you feel, Heidi, now that you found
It does. I'm super reading that.
4 years. So I've been studying for 4 years. Yeah.
would you say, I mean, you still have
So how do you explain this wrong?
I would say that this is probably one of the 12.
Do you feel more grounded, like more centered than you were with
I'm more content, yes. Am I happy? I mean, yeah.
Artificial rounds
But basically,
mimicked
you're cooking.
So essentially,
I actually like this.
revelation last night to read.
Like there's no, the point is, like if I was a cop, I would be happy as a cop. Do you see it? Like law enforcement. I like the psychology of things. I like selling goods, making money.
So there could be these other methods.
So that resonates.
That's based on the true system,
Right.
which is created.
And maybe I'm in a different relationship. Once you figure out yourself, then maybe I can have a normal relationship. But it's the chart has to do it. Like, you know, where it's gotta be like they can't lie.
Y'all the best.
Because I
It's like sex. These are the things that I really have.
it explains it actually
I'm
decently.
thinking about that now. I really don't think that, I mean, I think
How do we
that,
get the word shown?
It was all over the place. That's okay.
but that's who you are. You're awesome. Everyone appreciates you, Heidi. You're very honest. You're silly. You make us laugh because you're so honest. Like,
Yeah, like I can try to fall in something.
Will it go automatically or do I advance?
Deal.
You let me advance it.
You know?
Have to push a button or something.
you're 100% you, unapologetically, and I love it.
Yeah. Sometimes a little too.
Oh, love it. Oops. My gut has been right in front of this.
I wanted to see your chart.
Now why is this big on that and it wasn't big on anything else? You
I'm gonna be like, what do you do when you find yourself dead? I'm gonna say, what do you do when you're alive?
That's equally important question. Well, I'm gonna hopefully answer it. I hope I'm gonna let you answer it. That's good. Yeah, that's good. So you like it? Yeah.
February.
You have a family there? No?
I'm 138.
Well, sometimes
I
that's
feel like I've
better.
had this conversation.
That's good. I wonder if this thing will actually work pretty slow. Well, that's the.
I came a long way from the other.
Did you drive?
Yeah. I've traveled to lots of places.
I've had my head down working so hard that I haven't even thought about
The
it.
same part as
Yeah, no, I don't know what it is because I'm super, almost empathic and intuitive, that type of thing. So, I'm the same way, like, you know, I can see like a bear and this. I've seen so many things, like so many things, but it was wrong. It was weird with you.
When I read somebody in Kansas,
And I was like my talking system, like shot over my head.
yeah, if this works, we'll get together and try it out.
But
And your moon is in Mascara and Scorpio. You think how I act. You see what I'm saying? The way I act, that I'm really honest and tell you about all these secrets. You think these things. And you are are this way deep down inside internally. Like, you don't want to be lied to. You want the facts. You want to know, like, where we go when we die. It's all that good stuff. But the main thing is, you've got K2 in the box. Issues in relationships. You're never satisfied.
No, I've almost put myself in a situation that I don't. I'm almost at this point where I don't even really care too much about being in a relationship. I get offered to be in relationships. I just don't have any. Yeah, I have more of a. I don't know what it is. Like I'm the same way. I can't really look at a relationship and say to myself, oh, that'll be my. You know. Exactly as you were explaining it. Actually, that resonated quite well with me. I was totally in understanding what you were saying.
Like it's, I mean, I'm complicated. So are you.
Yeah.
We can't even figure ourselves out. Or there's like a lot of identities. Like you'll go with a bunch of groups trying to figure yourself out. You hang out with this group to be like this. You hang out with this group to be like this. And you'll just have like an identity crisis at some point in your life where you're like, what the hell, I hate everybody. Then you get into it with everybody. Then it's like,
I know that concept, yeah.
You know,
I like my dog.
you like dogs, of course. Like, and these are the things that you're all part of. Your balance relationship. What happens when somebody hurts you or when somebody offends you? Not just hurt, offense. It's very easy to just cut them off, go into your K2 castle, stick your flag up, and say, and we're gonna.
That's true.
Like, you are your own best company. Like, you could chop down the, you probably drove your glass, talk to you, and be like, I'm sorry, I don't know something like it.
I drive by myself a lot. I've traveled a lot by myself too. I mean, I've gone on weird journeys like where that's what I'm going to Europe, so I'm off to Europe, gone and called down to Vatican, done my whole thing.
What do you do as first job experience?
I've always been mostly construction. Right now, I wouldn't even name my company because I'm just kind of doing buying and selling. I just buy to sell. I flip properties, but I've just been going to auctions lately and flipping different things. Almost what comes to my mind. I'm starting to use my own intuition now to guide my financial situation. I don't think too much about that because it's always kind of followed me, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I do and I don't.
If I give you the remote control,
yes, absolutely.
It's 9/17/75, 11:30 a.m. Let me go get her so she can look. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll come back there. You can come back there?
Yeah,
go. But yeah, no, it's definitely interesting because there was something about you that resonated with me. Like it was almost to the point that I thought, okay, I maybe know you
in a past life.
Yeah, and something like that. Yeah.
Ah, dude, I know. Thank goodness. I'm gonna have to get on that.
Everything that you were hoping for.
Oh yeah, right there.
Exactly.
So excited.
So I can go all the way to the end of this table and still be seen.
That's so funny. I mean, I do all of it. Pretty much.
That's why we're here. I mean, normal would suck. So do you figure it's the space bar to advance?
Yeah, you're here.
I don't know. I think it's space bar. Oh, wait, one of the neighbors. That was probably right. Yeah. All right, cool. So just back and forth. You
do all the graphics yourself? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you got the greatest thumbnail, dude. Yeah. Big cities, once a So should we get it wrong? Should we get it wrong? You know,
I love it.
You gotta rock what you got, brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Alrighty.
What's going on?
I'm not close to that yet.
Most people really I've been on your channel. I'm like, your videos are short, so I think what it is for me is that I'm just gonna have to just sit down for a minute and just watch these guys and I run around and it's okay. You're just very helpful. The short videos are actually somebody necessarily have to do a video. So short ones,
basically there's just two powers. There's the base power and the base, like the extra. So I mean, me, I'm kind of cheap. I'm starting with the base one to see how that works. But some people just say to me, this is power one.
Right now.
So it's totally up to you. But go on my site and look at the mist type thing. Take a look and see which one you like. And make sure you order it from me with 10% off. Like a little something too, so it's gonna help you push your shirt.
Yeah, I love it. I was like, you know what?
We about ready, ladies and gentlemen?
And I'll do, I'll flash the light.
Yeah, all right.
Let's get that together.
All right. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's having one jump.
Okay, I'm not kidding.
I've lost control. I lost That's why I always say it's handle them, hold them, talk to them. I'm very polite to them. Please show me a yes, thank you, yes, no. I think it is.
Well, you just look at it. Let me just look at it. You guys could have had this beautiful carrot dog, but it's a carrot dog. Look, just look at it.
Just look at it.
Let me just check out my carrot dog. It does. Look at that.
Oh, no, not ketchup.
Here, you can't have it without mustard.
Relish.
Yeah, just look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about relish?
Look at
Yeah, you need relish.
it. All right.
I'll let you handle this relishing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And some hot sauce.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, he's from Texas.
Oh, Texas. Live in Texas.
Check this out.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, wow. He won't hold his rods, but he'll hold his carrot dog.
Hey, this is my own carrot dog. Now, this ain't Jeff's. This is mine.
Oh, my baby.
All right. I'm not gonna eat it. Do you want it?
Hell no, I don't want it.
Does anybody here want one of Jeff's carrot dogs?
Oh, yeah.
Just set it down somewhere.
All right, here we go.
Carrot's go for the carrot. It just tastes like a carrot.
I like that.
The garbage can's over there. He's got to spit it out. It's just a big old carrot. But it's pretty good. You put a hot dog in, so it kind of tastes like a hot dog.
That was so
He said that was so amazing. He's lying. Hey Rex, come on now. Yeah, okay. We got to clean up somewhere. These Texans are. This episode has been sponsored by the Carrot Dog. Not to be taken lightly.
That's right. Carrot Dogs and Jeff Daugherty.
Yeah.
Glad you made it.
There was an idea. You talked already.
She's very
Same with her. She said my mom was my parents. And she was in the kitchen when she was
Extravaganza of enlightenment. Have you had a good time so far? Yes. What'd you feel about Dan this morning? Awesome. What do you think about Jenny Moonstone Constantine? And how about the lady in the back, Heidi Vandenberg? And of course, coming up right after me, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, the way of life, Rex Bear from League Project. One hand clap for Rex just because. All right. So we're kind of here today to talk about what to do when you find that you're dead. Now this is a little bit of a different type of a crowd, but how many of you would you say here are afraid of death? Raise your hand if you're afraid of death.
I was.
Okay. All right. So if we went door to door on these trailers, if Rex and I went door to door on these trailers, if anybody would open the door, and we had it on YouTube and we asked them, are you afraid of death? What percentage do you think out of 10 would say, yes, I'm afraid of death? 90%. Probably 9 out of 10 would say, I'm afraid of death. I'm afraid of death.
Do you really think it would be that much?
Pardon me?
I think there's a lot of us a lot of people telling us they were saved by the blood of Jesus.
You think so?
Yeah.
But do you think that would mean they're not afraid of death if they're saved by the blood of Jesus?
Well, I agree, but I think it's a false.
It's not, because they ate to count to measure it.
It'd be, I may do that someday. That's very interesting, just to find out. But I think in your general population, we're probably somewhere around 75, 80% people really fear death. I think probably the only thing bigger than the fear of death, the statistics say, is public speaking. Public speaking.
And that's the Western, that's Western.
Yeah, so why are we typically afraid of death?
Fear of the unknown.
Fear of the unknown, right. Greg's not afraid of it.
Religion. Hell.
Religion, hell, because we just don't know.
It can hurt a lot.
It can hurt a lot. Absolutely. We just don't know. But the thing that struck my mind when I was talking about this and thinking about this is the Bible tells us the last enemy is death. The last enemy is death.
Why do they call it an enemy?
Bingo.
It's a scary.
Whose last enemy is death? And why? And how does that relate to us and what we're thinking about, what we're going to do, where we're going to go? So, this is Paul. Most of you know what I think of Paul. Paul, if you want to believe in Paul's religion, that's great. I also believe that you have the right to know that it was very different than the religion of the Christ. If you want to believe in Paul's teachings, you have every right to do so. I think you also have the right to know that those teachings were very, very different than the teachings of the Christ. Choose Paul, choose the Christ, but choose from a position not because what your grandma and your granddad and your great-grandma and your great-granddad and your great-great-great-grandma 3 times removed made a decision that you're just following along with. Be divine, be sovereign, be free within your own mindset, and make decisions based on information that you personally have evaluated. Paul said the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. And I'm asking you today, whose enemy is it?
The Lord's.
Paul wrote it, right? So Paul considered death his enemy. Is that fair to say from this writing?
Yes.
Who Paul worked for? Paul worked for the Lord, Yahweh, Jehovah, the person I call the rat bastard for the reasons that Dan shared earlier. The God of the Bible is not the God that you think he is. I think part of this is going to show you today. So the last enemy that will be destroyed. What is an enemy?
An adversary.
An adversary. What does an enemy do, Rex? What does an enemy do?
Causes problems.
Causes problems. What does an enemy do, Jenny?
Yeah, causes problems. I'm sorry.
What does it, somebody lies to you? What is an enemy's whole job? If you've got an enemy, what does an enemy want to do with you?
Destroy you.
Destroy you, dissent you, keep you off of your game, keep you off of where you really want to be. So your enemies are coming against you. So Paul says, I've got this enemy that's messing up what I want to do. Paul says, I've got this enemy that's messing up the plans that I'm trying to make. Paul says, I'm trying to stay in the camera. Paul says, for all the great people out on YouTube, live stream, we salute you for being here, seeking after truth. We wish you could have been here at the Extravaganza of Enlightenment, but this is the next best thing. And if you get tired of this one, go over to Rex Bear's channel, League Project. We're live streaming there as well. So Paul says, look, I've got this enemy. This enemy is keeping me from getting done what I want to get done. It's opposing me. It's an adversary to me. It's causing me stress and problems and difficulty in completing what I want to complete. That enemy is, what is that enemy? That enemy is death. So if Paul's enemy is death, and we don't believe the teachings of Paul, should death be, Greg, our enemy? Should death be our enemy? George Washington said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So let's think about this. Paul said his enemy is death. So if death is Paul's enemy, is it at least possible that death is not our enemy? Is it possible? And the last enemy that's going to be destroyed, it's the last Mohican, right? The last of the Mohicans. We're destroying a lot of other enemies. If you talk about Christianity, when Christianity came on the scene, the Christ had just been here saying, look, you're not filled with original sin. You've got the spark of divinity within. That's an enemy. People thinking they've got the spark of divinity within makes them hard to control. People believing that they're divine, they're sovereign, they're free. They're not going to listen to you or me. They want to listen to themselves. That's a problem. That's an enemy. But in 2,000 years, Christianity has been very, very effective, removing the concept from your mind that you are born with the spark of divinity. They've got you believing that you're born with original sin. They got you believing at the very best, you can be a sinner saved by grace. At the very best. They've got you believing that Hell is a place that you're going to go if you don't do things just right the way they say. They've got you believing that there's tribulation coming. They've got you believing that there's a rapture coming. They've got you believing that there's a rebuilt temple coming. They've got you believing in a red heifer and a whole bunch of other nonsense that makes you afraid, makes you scared, makes you worried. And you can't operate in faith and growth and development if you're living in fear and doubt and worry and dread. So they're ticking off these enemies one by one. They're taking away your peace. They're taking away your joy. They're taking away your spark of divinity. And like Rex is always telling us, they're putting stuff in our food. They're putting it in our water. We're breathing it in. They're beaming it at us. They're destroying enemies one by one by one. But the last enemy of Paul, the last enemy of the rat bastard, is death. Why is death considered to be the last enemy of the rat bastard? Here's Paul again. Death will be swallowed up in victory. The rat bastard is saying through the little rat bastard, mini rat bastard, mini rat bastard is saying, death is going to be swallowed up in victory. It'll be a victory for the rat bastard when death goes away. When death ends, it's going to be a victory for the rat bastard. Why? Dan was all over this morning. Why will it be a victory for the rat bastard when natural human death goes away? And then he's going to say, oh, death, where's your sting? Paul had a thorn in the side. The Greek word in that is stinger of a scorpion. So Paul's going right back to this thing that's been a thorn in my side forever. It's going to go away when death goes away. And then where's your victory, death? It's over. If they can just get death destroyed, the rat bastard, Paul, if they can just get death destroyed. And just like they do in the movies, and Rex told me to go see Wonder Woman. I would have never seen it if he hadn't recommended it. Great movie. Fantastic movie. Deep movie. Lots of truth in there. Lots of good stuff in there. Powerful show. Thank you, Rex.
Yeah, absolutely.
American Gods. Beautiful. Perfect. Mr. Robot. Not bad. Not bad. You're 3 for 3.
Robot.
Yeah. So, this kind of breaks it down right here. This is Paul again. And he says, oh, this is actually the Christ. This is the Christ talking. So we got Paul's perspective. And here's the Christ. And the Christ says, the Father. And he's talking to the Jews, and to them the Father means who?
Yahweh.
The rat bastard, Yahweh, exactly. So what the Christ is saying, he's saying the rat bastard says that when I, the rat bastard, have put, when I want to rule, I want to have rule and authority and power. I want to reign. And to do that, I've got to put all my enemies under my feet. All of my enemies under my feet. Not some of them, not most of them, but all of them. And what is the last enemy of the rat bastard?
Death.
Wow. Death. The rat bastard's last enemy will be death. And look at this, folks. When death happens, when death is destroyed, then all things will be subdued unto who? The rat bastard. Are you with me? Right now, the rat bastard can't rule because death is still here. We don't understand exactly why yet, but until death is destroyed, all things cannot be subdued under the rat bastard. Check this out. Not only all things, the rat bastard, maniacal, wants to control, wants to own, wants to rule, wants to destroy everyone. Same God that kills little babies, same God that kills women, same God that kills children, and really, worse than that, doesn't have the guts to do it himself. He makes people do it and bear that horrible karma and trauma. Not only does he want to destroy death, because he believes that will allow all things to be subdued to him. But, check this out, he thinks if he can destroy death, that's also going to put the Christ under his submission. Because if I can destroy death, then all things will be subject to me. Even the Son himself would be subject unto me, the rat bastard. I'll have all things under myself, and I will be God, all in all. If I can just get rid of death, I'm going to be Pimp Mac Daddy, undisputed Conor McGregor, Muhammad Ali, The Rock, Brother Hulk Hogan. I'm going to be all of it, rolled into one. If I can just get rid of death. What you going to do when the rat bastard breaks out all over you, brother? What you going to do? What you going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I've said, and I've been saying the last couple of weeks, that this is the last generation of real humans. Because of what they're feeding us, Rex Bear, because of what they're beaming us with, Rex Bear, because of what they're pumping into our air, Rex Bear, because of the things that they're putting in the vaccines, because of all these things, they're changing us genetically. They're changing us in our very structure of our bodies. Is that right, Rex? Mm-hmm. They are changing us. We will not be in another generation who we are now as humans. Jay Campbell was on the show the other day talking about, and I've read this up and verified it, by 2035 they say that most men in America will be functionally infertile, I guess is the word, infertile. They won't be able to reproduce. We're the last generation of real humans. Let's get busy. But here's the point. He's trying to do away with death, but to do away with death, that means he has to create almost eternal life, right?
He is.
But I'm confused now because the Christ wants us to live eternally, and now the rat bastard wants us to live eternally, or so it would seem. So, how do we figure this out? Here's the Christ again, saying that he is not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living. And do you remember the Christ also saying that he that believes in me, if he dies, he will still yet live? Why? Because he's not the God of the dead. He's the God of the living. And we've been greatly erring in this thing called death. We think death is an ending. We, except for Greg, think death is something to be feared. We think that death is the end of something. We think we go all of our lives trying to prevent it. We go all of our lives trying to put it off. We go all of our lives dreading it. Death, we want to get rid of it. We don't even want to think about it. And death has got such a bad rap. What if, and why are we so obsessed with something that the Christ isn't even affiliated with? I'm not the God of the dead. The Christ doesn't know anything about death. And here's why. Because our death in this physical body is our birth into something beyond this. Would you agree with that, Jenny Moonstone? When we are set free from this body that, remember, we got conned into in the first place, this isn't us. We are the spirit that's stuck in this thing because it turned out it was a girl who didn't know a line when she heard one, and a dude that couldn't say no to a woman. That got us in this position. That's what got us here. We got conned into these bodies. And yet the rat bastard has so twisted it around that he's the one that conned us into the bodies, and now he set up this system to make us afraid of the last thing that can get us out of these bodies. Did you see the twisted nature of the game that's being played with you? If Wayne Steiger was here, he'd call it a mind coitus. And brother, it's without lubrication. Bend over, here it comes. I don't hate to be, but can we just be real? It's rape. It's not mind coitus, it's mind rape. He's got us to where we fear the last thing that can get us out of this body. Let's say that you don't get with me or somebody like me that can teach you to be 3 feet behind your head. Let's say you don't figure out how to exteriorize yourself and learn that this body isn't you. When you die, and Greg knows this, when you die, you get a chance to exit this body. And they can't stop it. You get a chance to get out of this body. The one you got lied into, the one you get cheated to stay into, the one you've been tricked about, you get a chance to get out of this body, Bella. You get a chance to reestablish your divinity, reestablish your sovereignty, reestablish your freedom. You get a chance. And if we're the last generation of real humans, no matter how many times we've been here before, Jenny, no matter how many times we've been here before, Heidi, this, and I'm not a doom and gloom guy, but I'm a guy of reality too. What if this is your last death? What if this is your last death?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, yes, but you got to get it right this time.
Oh, or else you're never coming. Yeah.
Or you're not going to get a chance to die to this body again. Because what do they want to do with artificial intelligence? What do they want to do with Sophia and Hans? What do they want to do? Here's what they're telling you. We love you so much. We care so much about you. We're so upset with poverty. We're so upset with disease. We're so upset with sickness. We want to create these beautiful, perfect bodies that we can transfer your consciousness into these bodies. You'll never be sick again. You'll never have pain again. You can be beautiful forever. Who doesn't want to be beautiful forever? Who doesn't want to be a stud forever? And if you'll just do this, you can go into these bodies forever. And if we as a society accept that, is the rat bastard not being able and victorious over death itself?
Yes.
How many people on your deathbed, with all due respect to Greg, going through what Greg is going through, with a disease eating away your body, taking medicine that makes you feel sick, having to stop so many times coming down from Kentucky because of what the body does to what the medicine does to your body. If somebody says, hey, look, all you got to do is get out of this one, boop, we'll put you in this one. Looks good, feels good, sounds good, boom. You're the man. How many people are going to have the moral integrity to say, no, just let me go on and die and leave this body. I'm not about this. You know how many billions of dollars a year are spent making these bodies look good? But that's the trap, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you're in one of these, they have their problems, they have their difficulties, right? They're not perfect. But when you die in this body, you can leave it. You got a chance. It's got a built-in escape hatch. Actually, it has 7 escape hatches. I can teach you how to get out of them before you die. But set all that aside. When you die, you do get a chance to leave this body. And like we were talking with Greg earlier, when you die, the goal is to be divine, to be sovereign, to be free. It's not to do what Jeff tells you to do. It's to be able to say, okay, I'm dead. Now, what do I want to do next? That's the whole thing right there. To realize I'm dead, what do I want to do next? Door 1, door 2, door 3, door 4. Which one do I want to go through? That's the whole key. What do you do when you find that you're dead? Realize you're dead, know you're dead, and have the mental capacity to make a choice of your choosing on where you want to go. Because right now we're greatly erring. Because we're not ready to die. We never thought about dying. We've never talked about dying. We never thought about what we're going to do. So when we die, we freak out. Sometimes I work with spirits, they don't even know they're dead. They don't even know they're dead. We greatly err because we don't understand death. We greatly err because we're afraid of death. We greatly err because we're intimidated by death. We greatly err because all of our society is telling us death is bad, 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 and we're such sheep, we believe it's bad. Come on, sheep, bad.
We all got it.
So we greatly err. And it's not complicated, folks. Know we're dead, realize we're dead, and make a choice of where we want to go. Because what happens right now? You don't even know you're dead. If you know you're dead, you see this beautiful light, and you get pulled towards it, and you just kind of go towards the light. Or here comes Grandma, or Aunt May, or Uncle Billy Bob, and they say, come over here with us. It's so wonderful. And you go with somebody to some place. You go with something to some place, or you wind up in some soul farm like Heidi and I used to run back on Mars. And I think we had Rex in there. I'm sorry, brother.
Hey, I like it out there. It's all right.
Right now, we greatly err because we end up going places that are chosen for us by other people and other things. Know you're dead. Make a choice of your choosing. Be divine in your death. Be sovereign in your death. Be free in your death. That's what you do when you find that you're dead. Here's the verse I was talking about.
And ask a question.
Whosoever lives, take a breath in. Let it out. Congratulations, you live. Whosoever lives and believes in what the Christ is saying. You live automatically, you don't believe automatically. Like Mark Twain said, it's a lot easier to convince somebody. It's a lot easier to fool somebody than it is to convince them they've been fooled. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. I'm trying to convince you that you've been fooled. So if you know you live, and you do, if you believe in the Christ and the message of the Christ, you will never die. Never. So does that mean you're going to live forever in this body? But he just said you'll never die. What's he talking about if this body is going to die? Anybody, what's he talking about? Your soul, your spirit. There's something in this meat suit. This isn't you. This isn't me. This will die. But when Christ said the kingdom of God is in you, that's you. That won't die. And I'm asking you the question that Christ asked. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Yes or no?
Yes.
What are you doing then if you believe that to make sure that you're ready to know when this thing is dead, that your spiritual life is just beginning, you're moving on to a new place? If you believe that, what preparations are you making to be able to make a decision for yourself and go where you want to go? What are you doing?
Unlearning everything that we've ever been taught, and then becoming more aware, raising our consciousness without conviction. But
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that was rhetorical. I'm sorry.
That's it. No, it's fine.
Learning how to get out. Building karma.
Showed up here.
Show no fear. That's it right there, Greg. Here's Paul. Here's the whole nugget of their pitch to us. It's appointed unto men once to die. You're all men, women, you're all going to die. You're going to die, die, die. And after that, you're going to get judged. And what's the judgment like? Great white throne, right? Charlton Heston. You know? And I beheld, and the books were open. Right? And you're quaking with fear, and here's Charlton Heston, God, long hair, just like Ozzie Stern, big old beard. I am going to judge you. Does that sound like a father to you? How many of you in this room are fathers? I'm a father too. I wasn't a particularly good one. Didn't know what I was doing. But even me, I wouldn't sit up on some throne and have my kids come in front of me, I'm going to judge you. And because you didn't do what I say, off with your head, into the lake of fire, burn forever. What? Who's the most evil person that you think ever lived? Give me a name.
Attila the Hun.
Let's say Hitler. Attila the Hun. Attila the Hun lived how many years?
Several.
Yeah. Probably 60, 70 years maybe. Hitler, 70 years. So even if they were the worst of humanity, right? Are you going to throw a being into a fire forever and ever and ever for 70 years of sin? Where's the equity in that? Where's the morality of that? And oh, by the way, as soon as you die, you go straight to hell. No judgment. You're being punished. The sentence being executed before you even get a trial. Where's the equity in that? Even in our twisted American watered-down justice system, we don't execute somebody without a trial. You may not get much of a trial. You may not get much of a lawyer, but we're going to give you a trial anyway. The rat bastard won't even do that. They want us to believe because they want us to be scared. And if you die, I mean, most of us know we're going to die. We get a little inkling, we're sick or something. And for you going to death in fear. And people that are in fear, what kind of decisions do they make? Not good ones. You know what's funny? Greg thinks he was here, I'll show up, you know, what the hell. And we think that we're all spiritual, and we got the books and the rods, and we watch all the videos, and we are so spiritual. We dislocate our shoulders, patting ourselves on our back for our spirituality. And if I hurt my shoulder, I can get Rex to pat me on the back for my spirituality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see? And if I hurt my other shoulder, I can get Bella to pat me on the back for my spirituality. It's a spiritual bless me club. We're so happy with ourselves because we're so spiritual. Greg's like, I don't know anything about this stuff, but I know I just don't have to be afraid of death. And all of us spiritual giants, we don't know nothing compared to this guy that walks in off the street, so to speak, and says, what's the matter with you idiot? You got to have a conference? You got to pay $50, get on an airplane, come down and listen to some guy in a paisley jacket, funny looking boots? He'll do it for half. Just don't be afraid. Why are you afraid? Because God's going to judge me. Rex, I'm afraid because God's going to judge me and I think I might have done something wrong and oh my God, He's going to get me. Up here on my channel, I'm afraid because God's going to judge me. Ah! I'm scared because God's going to judge me. And you know what? God is going to judge you. God is going to judge you. God is going to judge you. Who's God? Who is God? Who does that verse say is God?
Jesus.
Read it. Those three words in yellow.
You are the God. You are the God.
You are God. Who's God? We are God. Jesus, the Christ said you've got the spark of divinity in you. You've got God in you. Yes, you're going to be judged by God. Who's God?
Us.
We're God. We're going to judge ourselves. And how are we judging ourselves? You are the judge. In a trial, what does the judge do? A judge says guilty or not guilty, doesn't he? The judge says go to jail or go free. You have the power in your life, not according to the crazy guy in the funny jacket, but according to the Christ. You get to decide if you're guilty or if you're guilty or not guilty. You get to decide. You get to decide if you go to jail, soul farm, reincarnation trap, or if you get to go free. How long will you greatly err? Which one do you want? Which one do you want? You're the last generation of real humans on planet Earth. This might be our last chance to get it right in death. But guess what? This is our last time of facing judgment. But you know the judge. You're on intimate terms with the judge. If I could just get a judge that understood where I was coming from. You got a judge that understands where you're coming from. You're the judge. If you know you're the judge. If I just had a judge that understood me, I'd get a just sentence. You know the judge. What do you do when you find that you're dead? Well, hopefully you've done some stuff before you find that you're dead. You're here, you're thinking about this. When you find that you're dead, realize it. Okay, I'm dead. Okay, I've got to judge myself. I'm not saying forgive yourself for every bad thing you did. Learn from it. But at the end of the day, you did the best you could. You learned some things. You made some progress. Don't go back and be somebody else's fish food for another round. Because next time, they may put you into an artificial intelligence body, and there's no ways out of those brothers. There's no ways out of those sisters, and you will be in those forever. You won't ever get another chance to get out. They will grind you to powder. They will extract every bit of you until you're nothing left but some dust to fertilize the astral realm. I'm a positive guy, but I'm positive we're the last generation of real humans. I'm positive this is our last chance. And I'm positive that you've got to get it right. That's why we're here. That's why Rex and Jenny and Heidi and Dan and all of you other great people showed up at this place today on December 10th, taking time out of your life, taking money out of your wallet to be here. And because of that, I have great confidence in you. I know that you are going to be your own judge and you're going to give yourself a righteous judgment. I know that you're not going to send yourself back to jail. You're going to set yourself free. And guess what? We're going to have another meeting just like this after our individual judgments. And we're going to go around slapping each other high fives. Not because we're so super smart and spiritual, but because we listened to a guy from Kentucky that told us not to be afraid. Give yourselves a hand clap of applause because we are figuring it out. We're the last generation of real humans. We are in the human business, and guess what? Business is a booming. Yes. Give yourself another hand. Woo! That's all I got. Do we want a break or do we want some Rex right here, right now?
Rex.
That's not good enough. Let's do it. Rex, 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 Rex. Woo!
All right, man. Wow.
All right.
All right, you want to record this for me?
I'll record this for you.
Okay. Good man. There you go. You know, point and shoot.
Yeah, give me a second to sit down.
Wow.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Do I watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Well, first of all, I got to say thanks everybody for coming out here. I know some of you came from like Canada, Kentucky, all over the place. I mean, even if you're just down the street, thanks a lot for coming out. I didn't really put together a keynote speech because Jeff kind of told me at the last minute that I was doing a keynote speech, but I wanted to get a feel for what you guys, were here for.
Rex, when did you tell me you were coming?
Yesterday. And I'm sticking to it. No, it was a few days ago. But I wanted to get an idea on what you guys were like. I mean, I used to do group speeches and talk to people all the time. And I can tell you're all genuinely wanting to know the truth. You're here for a reason. I mean, there's other things to do than come in here and listen to me and Jeff talk and Heidi and Jenny. But what I've gathered so far is you guys are close. Like every one of you guys. I can feel like literally, can you guys see the hair standing up on my arms right now?
Yep.
It's ridiculous. The energy is off the hook. Somebody asked me earlier about the Sumerian tablets. I know that a lot of you guys, including myself, want to know where you go after this physical life. And I'm kind of all about, we're here now, let's take advantage of it. I mean, there's so much going on around the world right now that we can do something about. I mean, I came out here from San Antonio, and Louisiana was snow and ice. I mean, that's not normal. The weather isn't normal anymore. Every time you look up in the clouds, you can see these stratospheric aerosol injections. They're spraying the crap out of the clouds. And then you go to the Rhode Island bill that just passed, the Geoengineering Act of 2017, that said that they've destroyed about 76% of the ozone by trying to block the sun. It's not a conspiracy anymore. You know, people call you a conspiracy theorist. Take that as a badge of honor. I'm going to get tinfoil hats for all of you to wear. So when they say, where's your tinfoil hat? You'll have one.
Yes!
It's important. I mean, what are we going to do 40 years from now? 50 years from now? 20 years from now? I've had people on the show that say in 7 years, they're not going to be able to grow crops outside anymore because the ozone is being destroyed. So they're trying to block the sun to keep the earth cool, but what happens when there's no ozone left? So what do we do about it? Do we just continue to talk about it? Do we just continue to say, oh, it's no big deal, they're protecting us? It was on Fox News, Antarctica's healing up. Did you guys see the new thing where NASA says the ozone's healing now? I mean, who really believes that? I don't know. I'm agnostic. So I see kids getting injected with vaccines, and I see their lives destroyed. Heidi's brother used to be totally healthy. Then he got vaccines, and then he died. He was in a coma the rest of his life. So I have friends and family that get force-fed lies and these vaccines, and then the rest of their lives, they've got autism, Asperger's, they've got Crohn's, they've got some type of immune disease or disorder, and it's just conspiracy. They're conspiracy theorists because they said it was vaccines. Well, here's the thing. We're not living naturally anymore. I don't know, I probably saw 1,000 cell phone towers from Louisiana to here, and I wasn't even really looking. I mean, so why is this going on? So I look back at the ancient tablets, and I see that we did this before. Our ancestors did this before. We were created by the Elohim, or the Anunnaki, or it could have been us. They could be talking about us. I had a guest on the show named Clint Richards, and he takes each word and he breaks it down into what it actually means. So you could be reading the Bible and get a completely different interpretation than Joe or Jane or Bob or Sam, because each word represents something else. So I think that right now, in the current state that we're in, I would strongly recommend getting as much knowledge as you can. Learn as much as you can. Be open-minded, but don't be so open-minded that your brain's going to fall out. I mean, what does a mind and a parachute have in common?
Got to open to work.
Yes, sir. They got to open to work. They don't work unless they're open. I'm not jumping out of an airplane with a partially good parachute. It better open up all the way.
It'll probably work, Rex. Don't worry.
Yeah. Smash!
They love you. They packed it for you.
Oh, yeah. They packed it, Rex. See you. Have a fun landing.
Rex, it's not the fall that kills you anyway.
It's not?
It's the sudden stop at the bottom.
Hello. It's the sudden stop. Shock me. Well, with the tinfoil hat on, I can hopefully avoid that. But with that, so really, guys, I mean, I just think that it's a blessing that you're all here. I love seeing more people wake up. I started Lead Project about 2.5 years ago. And I mean, it's gone to, we're over 170,000 subscribers now. There's no stop. It's going to keep going. This is just the beginning. Jeff, you're just at the beginning. Heidi, Jenny, you're just at the beginning. All of you guys have an opportunity every day you wake up to make a difference. Why do they call it the present? It's a gift. Every day is a gift. So I know some people have physical opportunities where they might be physically in pain, mentally in pain. Hey man, I understand. Like my mom, bless her soul, she's had migraine headaches pretty much her whole life. Like she went to work for 40 years with migraine headaches. She's the nicest woman in the world. I've seen her save people's lives literally at the side of the road. I think to myself, why does she get migraine headaches? Why does this happen? And then I take it back to, a lot of people are just naturally get migraines, right? But then it's your hormones. And then some people, if they get certain, let's just say vaccines, certain injections, because we go back to when she was 20 and she had a specific vaccine, and now she pretty much lives with migraines. My aunt had a vaccine for the flu, and immediately after, she got red welts all over her body. The doctor said, oh, well, yeah, the vaccine, it would have happened anyway. The vaccine just made it happen faster. Genetically modified E. coli feces is in almost everything that you consume.
Literally, Rex.
Literally. Go to a gas station, find something that doesn't have aspartame or asulfame or neotame. That is a genetically modified E. coli feces. So this entire world that we live in, talk about a lie, talk about being brainwashed with religion, with corporate masters. I mean, the whole system is designed to keep you in prison. And I absolutely agree with Jeff on that. Who put us in here? I don't know. Could it have been Yahweh? Could it have been Yaldabaoth? Could it have been Enki? Could it have been Enlil? Could it have been Anu or Odin? Hey, they all might represent certain archetypes anyway. All I know is I see what's going on around me. I look at the past 20 years, and it scares the hell out of me. I want my kids to be healthy 20 years from now, 40 years from now, 100 years from now. And if we keep going down this path, I don't know where we're going to be. We might be indoors, literally indoors. Now, here's another interesting thing. The singularity movement, you guys all know about the singularity, 2035, about that time frame, Ray Kurzweil. That's about the time, well, actually within 7 years, so even before that, about 2025, we could have no ozone. We could have such little ozone that we are literally going to have to grow our crops indoors. So where does the singularity movement come in? Where does the transhuman movement come in? Where do these bioborgs and Sophia that just got a citizenship in Saudi Arabia as a female robot, she has more rights in Saudi Arabia than women do. It's nuts, but it's okay because they love us. They love us so much. They love us, thank goodness. I'm so glad they love us. But I'll tell you this much. Sophia, what happens when you here's another thing. What happens if an artificial intelligence becomes self-aware? That's another thing that I'm really trying to grasp here. What is the soul? What is the spirit? If we were created by Elohim to do their work, if we were created by the Anunnaki or people that were similar to us, but maybe they made it through a cataclysm, and so they survived and they learned how to evolve, and they learned how to do genetic modification, gene splicing, etc. Well, so we create this artificial intelligence that then becomes self-aware, but because it's in a different body, it's in a different machine, does that mean it's not real? Does that mean that we're better than it? I don't know. I don't think so. I think if something's self-aware, even if it's a toaster oven and it's self-aware, it knows what it's doing, it knows it's popping toast, it doesn't like to get too hot, it doesn't like to turn on dark. Just saying. So, I mean, they're making computers now with synthetic DNA, with human synthetic DNA. So how far are we going to go? What is justified? What do you guys think is justified? Is technology good or bad? Both. I think it's good.
How you do it, how you use it.
Exactly. So people say, oh, technology is the root of all evil. We need to get rid of technology. Do you have shoes on? Do you use soap? Do you have a refrigerator? That's technology. You're wearing clothes, right? You're not running naked in the woods. Well, it's technology. That means it's a little bit of the transhuman movement. So with the artificial intelligence movement right now that I see and how fast these supercomputers are, especially now with the quantum computers that can be at multiple places at once, they can come up with these calculations that are just phenomenal. I think that really we need to consider the option of, if technologies are going to keep advancing, do we want a job 30 years from now, 20 years from now, 40 years from now? Well, sign of the times. Use it to our advantage. Don't let it use us as a battery. And we're there right now. I mean, how many aerosols do they spray on a daily basis? How many schools have cell towers next to the school or the daycare or the nursing home? What do they feed people in assisted living facilities? What do they feed kids at school? How much do people make for wiping people's butts at a nursing home? $10? Yeah, literally. They get shit. That's what they get. And $9 an hour. I don't know how they survive. So I think that we're in a time now where we can make our voices heard. I could be in my grandma's garage. Not really my grandma's garage, I'm joking. But I could be in my garage and talk to people from around the world and munch on cookies. And you've seen grandma's cookies. She makes
How do you stay optimistic, Rex?
Because you asked me this once before, and I think it's a great question. I stay optimistic because I shouldn't be here. I should be dead. I should have been dead a long time ago, or brain dead. Like when I was 11 years old, I had such a bad bike wreck. They said, "Oh man, you shouldn't even do PE for a year." I had a blood clot in my head. I couldn't even do PE. I was this close to being a vegetable for the rest of my life. That's just one of many experiences that I've had, and I feel that I get through that so that I can help keep things going. I mean, I want to help you guys wake up and unplug. I talk to people every day. It's a gal the other day, a trauma nurse. She was on 3 different medications. She thought she was going to take those the rest of her life and die on medication. She doesn't take any of it anymore. She healed herself. She got off of the pharmaceutical drugs. She got off of the lies. And that's what they do. When you have an industry that makes money keeping you sick and you keep going back, that's insanity. Literally, that is literally insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, but that's how good they are at brainwashing you and your family. They're that good. Who's they? I don't know. That's a great question. They are those that you don't see except for you're doing what they have you do. Think about it. The school systems, the militaries, the politicians, the big giant corporations, the patents, everything that's available, there's literally a few bloodlines at the very top level that decides what you have access to. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? Use your mind. Your mind is mightier than your pen, and your pen is mightier than the sword. If we know what's going on, and we say, we will not assimilate. I will not assimilate. You will not assimilate me. I will do what I want to do. I am a sovereign being. You're a sovereign being. We all have divine spark. I believe that we all have
a very powerful infinite soul. We were given that at birth. Whatever God you believe in, if you don't believe in God, you have a divine spark inside of you from the beginning of creation. And we need to take advantage of that opportunity every single day. Help as many people as we can. Learn as much as you can. If you feel like you're going to get scolded for telling somebody about chemtrails or vaccines, if you're worried about what they're going to say about you, oh, they're going to think I'm a conspiracy theorist. Oh, what am I going to do? People freak out about that. People are more scared about public speaking than death. Jeff knows this. So don't worry about it. Learn, relax, feel good, help people out. If you make a mistake, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes every single day. My wife can't stand me. Thank goodness, bless her heart. I make up for it every day. We have to work on helping people out. That's my biggest thing that I'm going to say today. Help people out, learn, and don't be such a sucker. How many people out there just believe everything they're told? Oh, it's on the internet. I believe it is on the internet. Do your research. Do your research. That's the best advice I give. You see something, if it resonates with you, take advantage of it. If it doesn't resonate with you, let it go. All right? And one more thing. Be the change you guys want to see.
Be the change you want to see. You know, Gandhi was the guy that was famous for saying that. And Gandhi did a few worthwhile things, didn't he? And he not only did things on a spiritual realm, he did things on the real world realm too. He freed a whole nation, freed the nation of India from bondage to an imperial power. Think about that. Think about that. Because that's what Gandhi did, Rex. He thought about it. And then when he decided that he wanted to see a change, he decided he would just be that change. We can be the change we want to see in us. And together we can be the change that we want to see in our communities. We want to do these things across the country. Talk to people, help people, share with people, give them the information that they need to help make a difference in their lives, and maybe bring a little bit of entertainment too. But, I mean, Heidi, Jenny, Rex, me, we can be on YouTube all day long. But guess what? Dan, sorry Dan.
Dan the man.
Dan the man. Overwatch Channel.
We love you, Dan.
Overwatch Project. Dan, I forgot his last name. Starts with an
It's
O.
a good one, too.
What is it? Contento.
Oh, he's happy.
Dan is happy. Now I'll never forget it again. Dan is contento.
It's awesome.
Contento or contento? So you are contento. High five, Hillary. Great mnemonic device. Perfect. But we can be on YouTube all we want, but I'm watching the stream go by here, I'm watching the stream go by in Rex's. If you're not there, it doesn't matter, does it? Oh, we love Rex, we love Jenny, we love Dan, we love Heidi. You guys are the ones that make it happen. So what does that say? That means you gotta love you. You gotta love this group. You gotta love this synergy. You gotta love this family, because in the end of the day, we are family. At the end of the day, we are a movement, we are a force. And think about it, with the people just represented here today, over 200,000 people. Somebody said it only takes one man to make a revolution. We got about 250,000 men and women motivated, ready to go, wall to wall, treetop tall, locked and loaded, ready to rock and roll in the world-changing business, and cousin business is a booming. Not because of us five, but because of you and the 25 other people that paid and didn't come. But God bless them. I'm sure things happen in their lives. It's amazing, it really is. Yeah, we get scared. Yeah, we get worried. Yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff, but at the end of the day, man, we are the last generation, and we've got the control right there in the palm of our own little itty-bitty hands. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. It's up to you. We can do it. We can do it. And now they drop Easter eggs for us. They have to tell us the truth even when they don't want to. Paul did that when he said that You are more than conquerors through Christ who loved you. That's powerful stuff. That's powerful. Do I see a tear over there?
No, I'm laughing.
Oh.
Tears of laughter,
I saw tears.
Tears of laughter.
I'm used to seeing tears from women, though.
Oh.
That's what I bring out.
Big Dad.
Thank you for being here. This was great. This was fantastic. I don't know. Did you have a question?
I did. I want to ask you a little bit more about your abilities.
And ask everybody questions, any of the speakers if you want, or even each other.
Okay, this is to everybody.
About my abilities. You're not going to talk about my relationship abilities, are you?
No, I'm not.
Good.
So you
Because I don't
have
have any. It'd be a short talk.
you have talents that you offer on a donation basis. You have, but so I know that. But I want to know a little bit more about what that is like. The seminar is about, you know, death. So even though you're not dead when you travel the astral plane, you are kind of like Jenny, 1 foot in, 1 foot, like you've got access.
Which is also a quote from Constantine, by the way.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
He takes her cat because he's going to astral travel, and he says he's getting ready to do his astral travel. He says, cats, 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Yeah. Sorry, Hillary.
No, it's okay. It's
Squirrel.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
That's what you see? Yeah. Ghost in the Machine? Oh, woo! Yeah. All right, Hillary, you got my attention.
I want to know what you witness when you are, and not a general statement, and maybe an example, an anecdote of your most recent, time out there, over there, work there, in that realm. I know that you've mentioned deception is common. Words are, we know they're spells, so that they're not what you want. You want a knowingness, so kind of like a symbol. When you see a symbol, you get a story, that type of thing. That's the knowingness. But so, okay, understanding that, I just want to glimpse into an experience, an anecdote. I want more. I want more. I want to know a little bit more.
Buy yourself a piece of moldavite.
Okay.
That piece is like $20 or so. Whoa. Buy yourself a piece of moldavite.
Yes.
Was it a good catch or was it a bad drop?
Good catch.
So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, moldavite. It helps you astral travel. Halo created, these are to help astral travel. They're a prototype. They're not out yet. But anyway.
I'm not ready to astral travel until I understand more about it.
So what are you asking me? To tell you a story?
Like a story about like when you're in the astral realm.
Okay, probably the best one is like, Hillary, you were talking about the Pioneer Graveyard.
Yes.
I went back to the Pioneer Graveyard. I didn't video record it because I didn't think it was proper. I went back to the Pioneer Graveyard at night. I don't know why it's at night because I didn't want somebody to see me standing out there. And I went into the Pioneer Graveyard, I took my little ghost box, right? And I talked, and yeah, there were some people there that wanted to talk. So I do just a very simple breathing exercise, just in, out, 3 or 4 breaths. And for me, it's like, not to compare myself with Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan said that it's hard for him to explain to somebody how to play basketball because he's unconsciously competent. He just does it.
Okay.
Like, Rex couldn't teach me to do what he does. He just does it.
Okay, fair enough.
So I get into the astral realm, and it's a lot like this realm, but it's, did you happen to see the solar eclipse? Were you at Totality?
Yeah. Not Totality, but I did see it. I was in DC.
I'll tell you what, I was at Totality.
Yeah.
And it was like the astral realm. The veil was so thin, you could like see the other side, exactly. You could see it. And it's like smoky, it's like super colored, it's like surreal. What?
Plasmic.
It is, it's plasmic, that's exactly what it is. If you do your hand like this, you can see the whoosh. Yeah. You can. And you got to remember there's no cause and effect there. So you can pretty much do whatever you want there. And it's all about intention. So this is silly. I used to do this when I first started going up there. And I go up there to help spirits and help them, cross over. I always imagined myself as a ninja. Whoa! So I had the whole ninja thing going on. Because you got to be a badass up there. You're going to get your ass handed to you. It's all about who you think you are. Am I right, Jenny? It's all about boom. And the funniest thing is, I look around and Rooney, you know Rooney that you see on the camera? Rooney's there. Same coloring and everything, but he's a freaking saber-toothed tiger this tall.
Oh, yeah.
With the blue eyes. Looking at me, he's like, what you gonna do? The damn cat follows me into the astral realm regularly. So we go up there and we tell people, look, look, you don't have to be here if you want to stay here. Good on you. You don't have to be here. You aren't filled with original sin. You've got the spark of divinity. You can go where you want to go. And that's pretty much all it is. They either say, okay, and boom, they're gone. Or they say, oh no, you're wrong. I've got to stay here. This is where I belong to be.
Now, are these earthbound spirit, even though they're in astral?
These are the ones that are stuck in the in-between, or like the upside down. That's another one you put me on to.
Stranger Things.
I can't watch Stranger Things though, because the little girl, you know, she reminds me of my daughter.
Oh.
And I can't see anything bad happen to her. Just, ooh, it makes me literally cry, so I can't watch Stranger Things.
So I have a question. So after we pass.
Tell me your name again. I'm so sorry. Mimi, yes.
So you have all these choices, and let's say that one of the choices is your family.
And where are you from, Mimi?
Sarasota.
All right.
So you're confronted with your family, right? That's like, come to us. Is that but what if that's the trick?
Can I tell you something?
What if that feels so good and fuzzy and
Mimi, love me, hate me. I've been doing this for 36 years. 36 years. Back when I was a Pentecostal evangelist, I was doing this. And I'm going to tell you this just straight up. I don't know if Jenny will agree with me or not. I have a feeling she might. Straight up, 99.9% of the time, those beings that you see that are pretending to be Grandma, Aunt May, Uncle Bill, they're not Grandma, they're not Aunt May, they're not Uncle Bill, they're spirits that are impersonating them.
So the deception is that strong.
It is that strong, but if you get yourself dialed in now, think about it, ask yourself before you go to bed, Mimi, how are you going to recognize what's what when you die? How are you going to know who's who when you die? How are you going to know where to go when you die? And you ask yourself those questions because your mind starts processing answers. And it'll give you answers. You'll wake up in the middle of the night. What did you wake up in the middle of the night with?
The sword of the Excalibur.
The word and the tone.
Yeah, the word of the tone, yeah.
Bam, I do that all the time. You'll wake up thinking, oh, I know that I can tell it's not Grandma because I can ask Grandma a question. Now, funny enough, the times where it is Grandma is if you say, Grandma, where did you hide the money? And Grandma tells you where she hid the money. That's probably Grandma. But think about it. You don't want Grandma to be there. You want Grandma to be gone, doing her own thing, moving on. You don't want Grandma to be there. Tell you one story that puts this in perspective. And if you guys have to leave, God bless you. You know, why did I say that?
That's like the second time.
May the gods smile upon you. Smile upon yourself. May you smile upon yourself.
That's good.
Give yourself a smelfie. A different kind of smelfie. It's a smelfie, not a smelfie. A smelfie. Heidi sends me this picture or this little video because I told her I bought a selfie stick so I can do videos by myself. And she sends me this comedian. He's like, I don't call it a selfie. I call it an aloney. Do you know how alone you gotta be to not have one person to take a picture of you?
Unbelievable.
Anyway, my uncle died like a year ago. And I didn't know where he was, so when he died, I went home and I started thinking, hey, let's contact him. Contacted him instantly, and he looked like his vibrant self. He was wasting away from cancer. Looked so vibrant. I knew it was Joe, because he had just died. And I'm like, Joe, our nanny and granddaddy there, my mom, my grandmother and grandfather. He said, oh no, they're gone. But I want to show you somebody. Jason, who was my cousin, Heidi, who was had mental handicaps. He says, somebody's here, Jason. Jason comes over. Like Joe's like his nanny. No, but I think Jason's here. Joe looks around and sees Jason. He says, Jason, come over here. So here comes Jason, perfect in his right mind, chill bumps. And Joe says, oh, Jason, what are you doing? And Jason's like, I was just waiting for my uncle to come help me. And they looked at me and said, well, Jeff, nice to see you, we gotta go. And they, boom, just went on to where they were supposed to go. You just know, Mimi, you just gotta know. You gotta get your blink dialed to the place where you know.
How can you say no to like your mom or like your father?
Because it's not your mom or your father. You gotta know it's not.
You gotta know that there might be a chance that it might not be your
But what if that guilt is like, oh, I don't wanna like.
They know that. That's why they do it.
They
That's
do.
why they're doing it. Because they know what your internal being is going to say.
So Mimi, what you're gonna do,
That made laundry last night.
Mimi, what you're gonna do is, every night before you go to sleep, write it in lipstick on your mirror that you'll look and see before you go to bed. You're gonna say, how am I going to know if it's really my relatives or not when I pass over? How am I gonna know who it is? How am I gonna be able to determine who it is? How will I know? And ask yourself, and ask yourself, and ask yourself, and ask yourself. And you're going to wake up in the middle of the night, damn, the tone in the word. You're going to get it, just like that. And you'll never have that doubt again.
What?
But get ready, because another doubt's coming. So just keep asking. The quality of your life depends upon the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Don't ask, why am I so fat? Ask, how can I get to my ideal weight? Don't ask, why can't I ever find a girlfriend? Ask, what do I got to do to attract the right kind of person?
Universal. The
Law
universe
of
here is,
attraction.
yeah, but yes, because those types of things are very important. I agree 100%. Every thought and then every word that you utter is even more powerful than that thought because of the tone and the vibration of those words. It's vital. Another thing that popped in my mind, one thing I just realized also, if you were to see a loved one, your mom, whatever, or somebody in the astral plane, if they make you feel, or if you feel guilty talking to them, that's probably not, so yeah, that's right. And so I agree that you just kind of have to.
Mimi, here's another key. Thank you. If they want to just help you, it might be them, but if they want you to follow them, oh no, follow me, honey.
Yeah, right.
Follow me, honey. No, honey, you got to come with me. No, you got to come with, young lady, you got to get your ass over here and follow me. Your real mom, the real people that love you, especially in their spiritual place, would be like, well, honey, I think you should go this way, or you should go that way, or honey, do what you think is best for you. I want you to be happy. There's a key for you right there, too. Thank you. Dan. Overwatch Channel. Dan Contento.
There's three recurring themes I've found on thousands of NDE cases. Now, they use this thing called ecstasy, bliss, or euphoria, which people come back and they describe that as unconditional love. But when you read what they're really saying, they're overwhelmed by some kind of euphoric bliss. And then you listen to the interaction they're having with these beings, and it's not unconditional. It's, you can't go over here. You have to go back. So this thing is no different than a drug or something. It's like, it's like ecstasy is not unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's the feeling you're having. And then they use fear and guilt as the other two.
Fear, guilt, control.
Guilt, and this blissfulness that you get overwhelmed with. And whenever you encounter one of those three things, you're probably being influenced by something trying to manipulate.
Good stuff. Worth the price of admission right there. Anybody else?
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
It's more of a...
Tell me your name again.
Jim Matthews.
From?
West Palm Beach.
Awesome.
I would hold it against you.
I didn't hear that?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said I wouldn't hold it against you.
Oh, okay.
It's more of an opinion. Do you think we're finishing up an epoch and entering into a new one?
Yes.
From a bad to a good?
From a lesser to a greater.
That's good.
From a lesser to a greater.
I was wondering that too about the AI when they said AI. When did you think about that? I'm just curious what made you.
Back in the 70s.
Oh.
I think what we got, Jim, right?
Yes.
We got most people going as fast as they can this way. And then we got people like us going as fast as we can this way at the same time. So it's like a cross current of humanity. And my friend Dr. Andy Toltek, the shaman, says, one of these days we're all going to phase into our next place, and the smart ones that are left behind are going to go to the trees to survive. That's just what he says. So yeah, it's like this, but yeah, we really are the last generation of real humans. Somebody else had their hand up.
Well, it's kind of what he's saying, because, astrologically, we are.
That's right.
We are coming out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, which is the golden age, and it's the age.
This
of
is
I
the
know.
dawning of the
What's going on? I
age
know.
of
These came out of
Aquarius.
the era.
Come on, Rex, you know the deal.
Oh yeah, but you don't want to hear me sing.
And now that's the
I like that.
Was doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the I know.
So that song, was that from that era that was anticipating this time right now?
I think so, yeah. And it could have been, did you read my book, Assault on Aquarius?
And in the,
Not
in
today.
the Bible,
I find
the Christ said, I'm not of this age. And
Oh, and the band, oh, check this out. Guess who recorded The Age of Aquarius? Name that band. The Fifth Dimension.
They're before their time.
Jenny Constantine. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Hello.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Bingo! That's bingo!
Look, two of them.
No.
Bingo. Yeah, we got bingo right there. You had a question.
Yes, I did.
Name?
Joy.
Joy?
Yes.
Place?
Wikiwachi.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm from Wikiwachi. I found it very interesting when you were starting to speak on astral travel, and I'm probably giving up my age right now, but back in the 70s, Science Magazine had all kinds of stuff on transcendental meditation. I was pretty indoctrinated into Christianity at that time, but I thought I would experiment with it back then. I was about 17 years old, and of course I got myself out of my body.
Good for you.
The shit right out of it. Okay? And
It will.
one spirit came, as we were talking here, one spirit came, wham, boom, I'm right back in my body. To never try again for years and years and years. So I'm listening to you now, astral travel, and I'm thinking, I might want to try this again without this spirit thing coming in.
Yeah.
You're having a little bit different experience than I'm having, and I found it interesting, because now I am able to lay down, relax, and
Can I tell you why? You were much younger, right?
Uh-huh.
When you did this? This is going to upset somebody, but it's the truth anyhow. Astral travel is not for people. Astral travel is only for people that got their shit together in this world. You got to have your stuff all in a row, your ducks in a row in this world before you start astral traveling. It's not escapism. It's not the holodeck on the Enterprise. It's not some place to go up there and have sex with Scarlett Johansson. You're an idiot if you do that. And people do it. Get your life together here before you start trying to go there. And all of a sudden, it's easy.
it's very interesting, that you should say that, because
I try to
I do
work
feel
that out.
like that I have come to a place in my life that I do have it together, that I have found my balance. And I'm finding
Well, you're here, duh,
it
right?
easy, well, isn't it great? But I'm finding it easy to get myself out of my body, but your
Yep.
experiences are a little bit different than my experiences. And I want to throw this out.
And we're a little bit different, you and I, so.
Well, that's true, but you're running into people, and you're directing people. I seem to be saving children and animals. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense to me.
I'm just throwing it out.
You're
there.
going to do what you intend to do up there. It's all about
Okay,
intention.
All right, that makes sense, because I'm not talking to people telling them to take this way or that way or do whatever.
I'm not either. I'm trying to tend to be able to make their own
There's
decisions.
a child, I left my body, not last night, because I wanted to get some sleep last night. But the night before last, I left my body, and there was a mission that I had to go and save a child from a swimming pool. Went in, saved the child from the swimming pool, up there, boom, did a little of this, boom, off, and never meet the parents, never meet, see the whole scene. It's just, I have a mission that I have to accomplish. While I'm in that realm, I accomplish a couple of missions, and then it seems that I'm able to come back in and then maybe go on to sleep again, because that's when I'm leaving my body.
Sounds like I should be asking you questions.
You sound like a superhero.
I don't know whether I'm a superhero. This is just what
Jenny
I've experienced.
Moonstone. I expect an answer from Jenny Moonstone, not a
Oh,
question.
it's not a question.
Oh.
I just wanted to add something, okay, so some of you have heard me mention Bronze Barton. Okay, and he was one of the finest magicians of our time.
Great book, you should read.
Yes, Initiation into Hermetics. But what I wanted to kind of contribute
Initiation
is that,
into Hermetics.
yeah, my understanding of the astral realm is that it is one and the same as what is also known as the mental sphere.
Yeah.
So when somebody dies, and they pass over into that realm, there are different realms. There's the spirit realm, there's the astral realm, which is also the mental sphere. So what's left behind of somebody that passes over, it's the mental is what stays in the astral sphere. Okay, while the body dies, the body stays on earth, it goes through its transformation, whether it be cremation or being buried or what have you. The mind also goes through that transition. And so the mental plane, or the astral realm, which is one and the same, that is where the mind will live on. And so when you go into the astral realm, what you're experiencing is exactly what you would experience mentally on Earth. So it's a snapshot. It's like that, as above, so below. You experience yourself, if your archetype on the planet is of the hero, or you have that affinity for children, as I do, that's what you'll experience.
I bet her birth card is connected to, I just lost my train of thought, but anyway. But since Jenny brought it up, Mimi,
Ooh, the hair on mine.
a lot of the people, a lot of the stuff in the astral realm, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but a lot of it, it's like, when I made those carrots, I had to cut off a bunch of junk, the bad parts of the carrots and stuff, and we put the carrots in here and we ate them, but the bad parts of the carrots went into the garbage disposal. A lot of the astral realm is the stuff that couldn't pass onto the higher realm. A lot of it's junk, spiritual junk, and it's the stuff trying to stay alive, impersonating your loved ones.
That's what I wanted to tell you. Was that it's phony.
Thank you, Jenny. It is phony.
So my younger brother, he's done this like since he was 20, in his 20s, but he goes to dark places. But he's a dark guy too, with lots of drug issues and alcohol issues.
That explains it.
His entire life, but he sees dark, scary shit, and I don't know why he doesn't make it stop. Well, it's because he's lonely. This is really the only interaction that he has is with this dark stuff.
And guess what? The dark stuff, the only interaction they get is with dark dudes like your brother, and that's what's keeping them, both of them, alive.
That's why I never even tried to do this. I don't want to. I don't want to hit.
Remember, your world's not his world.
No.
I think we did a lot as children in our dream state.
I think we did. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
I remember dreaming, vivid dreams, 7, 8, 9 years old, flying and, going over places, and then it just seems like the educational system or something gets a hold of us and it whips it out of us.
That's what it's designed to do. Just like English, the English education system is designed to dumb you down spiritually. Yes, sir.
Something on that mental realm, Jenny, like she's doing. Are you saying that's not meaningful,
Yeah.
And
so above that,
basically if a kid is doing that, you should read something back.
Gotcha.
So I was just kind of.
I don't think that can happen. It's the energetic power needed, in my opinion, to get from their world to this world, kind of like in Stranger Things. It's too much of an energetic expense. They can't do it. But what they do is they use what's called an astral holographic technology, that they take advantage of our ability to exteriorize and trick us into exteriorizing, thinking that they've come to our world, but really they've created this astral hologram and we're still in our world, but they haven't really come. It's just a fake. It's like the planes flying into the towers on 9/11. Did I say that out loud? And you can ask everybody questions, not just me.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. We're to make sure I don't need to ask so many, but I'm so excited to be here. Manly P. Hall has a lecture on, the title is something like astrology and...
You sent that to me. Didn't you?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But what piggybacking off of Jenny moved a little bit. Well, or inside of the thought. He talks about the planets basically descending onto this earth. A soul will pick up what he refers to as garments of layers, but garments of attributes that we attain within us. And I feel like when you said mental part, the reptilian part, it's kind of like the astral plane, which is trickster, which is, self-deceiving. We deceive ourselves a lot with our own mind. But I feel like that's just maybe one of the garments, maybe one of the last ones, and it's kind of that just
interesting
extra clipping, or like maybe just it is the last garment before you ascend, and that is. I just thought of that. Like I was thinking about manly people, because the planets represent certain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm doing the garment, the
no
jacket.
So. Heidi, any last words you want to share with the group?
I just think the more you know about yourself, and once you start taking control of your life and understanding who you are, why you are the way you are, and if you have had a reading from me and I tell you this advice and stuff you should manifest, you really should give it a shot. If I can do this and do astrology, trust me, you can do anything. Period.
Dan, you have any parting words?
Just how all this reflects on free will. I just wanted to point out with all this astrology stuff, some people may wonder, well, all this is coded that, how. So I look at it the same way. I'm a gamer, and I like to game, and I look at it the same way. We're in a construct with parameters. So you have free will, but it's limited by the rules of the matrix. So you can learn from the code, and then you can use your free will to do the best you can inside the rule book here.
Nice. Nice.
Okay?
Good stuff. Jenny Moonstone.
Oh, I've said plenty today. I just want to say thank you. That's all, and thank all of you guys for, listening to me and listening to me and my friends.
Aww.
We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, totally. It's
In
really nice
Sarasota.
to meet all of you. Yeah, come to Sarasota.
What'd she say, Sarasota?
Sarasota.
Rex Fair.
We come in peace.
If you'd like to take some donuts with you, please feel free, because I don't eat them. If you'd like to take some, little potato chips with you, feel free. I don't eat them. If you want to take my computer with you, don't feel free. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming to the Extravaganza of Enlightenment. Thanks for checking us out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We appreciate your attention. And this is going to bring to an end the live stream of the, what's it called again? Extravaganza of Enlightenment. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your favorite friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. We'll see you again next time. And I'm still trying. There we go.